dreams are about to come true, Samuel.
That sucks, John.
No, then she sent me a message excited to tell me that she wrote him.
And started lying about it, telling me he was with friends or picking up food. I could see his location. This is a big yikes situation. I'm out. My boyfriend gave me the worst gift, so I think I have to break up with him.
The question is, what was the gift?
I guess we'll find out. So I'm going to write a fair bit of backstory because I think it's relevant, but I'll put a TLDR at the bottom. I met my boyfriend on Tinder in the beginning of my freshman year of college. I was a very naive 18-year-old. I'd been on dates, but I'd never been in a relationship, and I hadn't even had my first kiss yet.
Oh,
Hey.
man.
What you doing on those dates? What are people doing on those dates besides kissing?
Shaking hands.
I was pretty miserable my first couple of weeks after move-in, and so I got Tinder, and there I matched with a bunch of guys who went to my school. One of them I thought was pretty attractive. He was a junior and a brother in a good but notorious frat. Notorious. Those are the ones you gotta watch out for.
Yep.
He told me to come to his frat's party. So I went with some girls I'd met at orientation. There, he took me upstairs and we made out. But I think he could tell I was very inexperienced, so nothing happened, which I guess is good on his part.
Yeah.
I pretty much fell in love with him, even though we'd said about 3 words to each other. I didn't see him until a couple of weeks later when he invited me to a party he was throwing. I was expecting us to at least hook up, but when he got there, he was clearly with another girl, and there were tons of other random girls who I assume he was also hooking up with.
Oh. Tough
Damn.
nuts.
That's a lot of people. That sucks, dude.
lot.
I'm sorry, OP.
Yikes.
I was naive, but not an idiot, so I forced myself to get over it, and I didn't see him until my spring semester, when I drank too much, and he ended up at my dorm, and I lost my virginity to him. Dang. I didn't see him again until fall semester of my sophomore year. We hooked up the first week we were back on campus. I still don't catch feelings again, though, until we started hook up regularly every week. College romance, I guess.
Oh, God.
At that point, I was again pretty much in love with him, although this time I did have reasons beyond him being a large, attractive, popular man. We weren't dating, but we got to know each other and I saw his many virtues. However, it was still clear to me that he wasn't into me in that way and that I was one of a number of women he was sleeping with. So I didn't say anything and I kept it casual.
Yikes.
Sheesh. He also had a terrible reputation as a boy, even amongst his frat brothers. His Instagram comments were usually filled with sayings like, "horniest man alive." And all 2,500 of his followers are his girlfriends. His IG was Samuel Daughter. Who put that in?
Oh!
They said, just kidding. Who put that in?
It was Riley.
Oh my God, Riley.
He got us.
He's getting us even when he's not here. He graduated at the end of that spring semester and we saw each other one last time before. It was incredibly intimate and really cemented everything I felt for him. So after we both left campus, I confessed to him that I really liked him and that I wasn't okay with just hooking up with him anymore for my own sanity. Miraculously, he said he also had feelings for me. And he asked me out on a real date. We started dating and have been together since, and the whole time has been happy and healthy for us. Last Thursday was our 1-year anniversary of becoming official. He got me an incredibly thoughtful gift basket, including some jewelry, a painting, and a card. In the card, though, was a printed picture of a pros and cons list on a whiteboard. He explained to me that he saw my confessional message when he was hanging out with his brother. My boyfriend said he really didn't know what he wanted to do, and he wasn't sure if he wanted anything with me anymore. But he was tired of sleeping around and wanted a stable relationship. So his brother said he should make a pros cons list of me. And he did.
Oh, no.
Here's a paraphrase of the list. Pros: cute, great ass, good in bed, horny, likes me a lot, sweet, lots of friends, doesn't go out too much, close to her family, really smart and academically successful, good future ahead of her, and definitely not a gold digger, would do wifey duties. Cons: kind of a sloot, met on Tinder, frat rat, blacks out a lot, doesn't care a lot about her appearance, kind of nerdy.
Wow.
Okay, one, fucked up to fucking make this in the first place.
Yes.
But why would you give it to her as a present?
Dude.
Burn that shit. Burn that shit, dude.
Babe, I gave you the gift of honesty.
That is so bad. Wow. I'm speechless. To be fair, though, like, I mean, I didn't do something this bad, but I remember an ex-girlfriend did basically plan this whole really, really nice day for us. And it was great. There's more to the story, by the way, but it was great. It was beautiful. And then she ran a bath and she was looking at me and I was looking at her and she's like, I love you. And I was like, I don't really feel that right now. And she did not like that.
Are you sure? God. Oh man, that's tough. That is really.
But I wouldn't make a pros cons list on if I love you or not.
No, I mean,
I also, to be clear, I ended up saying it to her and we dated. So based off of that, he apparently decided to ask me out to dinner and then decide what to do based on how it went. And it went well enough that we started dating.
Ooh.
He showed it to me with nothing but good intentions, but I was absolutely floored for obvious reasons. I've been pretending to be sick since then as I figure out what to do. This is the most boneheaded move ever.
God.
On the one hand, he is my dream man, and I am so glad to be with him. He's been nothing but incredible to me, and we have a great relationship. And logically, I know that he wasn't in love with me or anything when he asked me out, as I'm sure he had some idea of how I felt, and he never did anything about it. But it still hurts to think that his feelings towards me were so ambivalent that he needed a goddamn pros and cons list just to ask me out.
Babe, I'm a man of logic, of lists.
The thing is, I also am a man of logic and lists. And I don't think I've done this for going on a date, but I've definitely done it for breaking up with someone.
Yeah. It makes more sense in the context of a breakup, but not in
But I wouldn't show it to them. I can't really talk about this to anyone in my life, as a lot of them already dislike him. Oh, huge red flag, dog. Huge red flag. You know what this is? He's probably super hot. And when someone's hot, you forget the bad parts of their personality. So be careful, y'all. Be careful out there.
Man, oh man.
And I don't want to bias them anymore. So I thought I would ask here, what can I possibly do? I like to think I have more self-respect than this, but I really love him and don't want to cause conflict in a relationship over something he definitely didn't think would hurt me. And we went to the comments of this first post. And boy. So someone asked if he ever gave her any other kind of terrible gifts. He can definitely be an idiot at times. From his explanation, it seemed that he wanted to show how far we've come from just drunkenly hooking up to being in both of our first serious relationships and planning for the long-term future. And this was the only picture he had. And also it showed how much we've both grown. He also thought it was funny that he needed to make a pros and cons list now that we're so committed to each other. Also, I didn't mention his virtues because it didn't seem to be irrelevant to the issue at hand, but he legitimately has been a great boyfriend and he is a great man in general. Then why do your friends hate him? Huh? He's very supportive of everyone around him. He always compliments me and buys me flowers and gifts, and he's never hesitated to drop everything to help me out, even when we were just hooking up. And he's been receptive to any concerns about our past. He has never been bothered by blocking or adding or whatever. We also have similar values and goals, and both of our paths are aligning very closely. And thank you. You are right that I need to at least talk to him, as I didn't think he even realized that it bothered me, which is true. You should totally talk to him.
Yeah.
And someone asked, why do your friends not like him? Which is what I want to know. My friends don't really like him, partially because they saw me pine over him for a year, and also because I kept our relationship secret when it started, and they were angry about that. They also think that he is stupid and a fuckboy. Some of my friends outside my main group also don't like him because his frat had a really bad reputation. For what it's worth, though, my family is fine with him. I just don't really speak to them about this kind of stuff.
I mean,
and there is another update.
Oh boy,
it's pretty juicy. But what do you think? What do you think, John?
I'm not buying it. I just, based off of the context we have here, obviously we do not have all the information, but I think this is a college relationship. I think she's probably pretty enamored, and maybe he does do the things that she mentioned there, but that doesn't mean that he's doing other BS outside of that makes the relationship not worth it.
Yeah.
Doing something like sending this list.
The other thing, though, is how do you feel in this relationship generally? Do you feel good or do you feel bad? Is this a crazy out of the blue, out of pocket thing? Because I'm seeing in this list a lot of misogyny and shallowness. And so maybe that's a product of what your relationship or who he was before. But really ask yourself, have any of these qualities that he's exhibited in this terrible anniversary letter have they shown up in the relationship? Like really ask yourself that. But if you do feel good in the relationship, maybe maybe it's something you can look over. But let's get into the update.
Let's do it.
First off, I wanted to clear up a couple things. One, no, he isn't the only man I've ever been with. I did lose my virginity to him, but I've been with plenty of men other than him after that. Two, he didn't SA me the first time we slept together. I was drunk, but not blacked out. And I'm the one who told him to come over. I consented and I enjoyed it and continued talking to him afterwards. Three, no, I don't have STDs. I get regularly tested and he's never given me anything, even though we often didn't use protection when we were hooking up, including the first time. Now for the actual update. Everyone's comments were a real wake-up call. I did already realize, at least somewhat, that the entire time we'd known each other before we were dating, he had treated me like crap. But I justified being with him by saying that he changed because I'd won him. But the pros and cons list made me realize just how little he thought of me. And giving it to me made me think that he still felt the same way towards me. It also made me realize that in his mind, he was settling for me and that he probably only really liked me for the things I did for him. I also realized that although that was fine for a little, he is really hot, to be honest. Fucking called it.
Big Sammy with the correct guesses, baby.
I definitely didn't want to have kids or spend the rest of my life with a man who didn't actually like or respect me. I also did make my own list, as some comments said, which made me realize how much I was willing to overlook for an attractive man. I would never give it to him because even though a lot of people seem to think I don't really love him, I do care about him a lot for some reason and would never do anything to hurt him. But here is the list. Pros: 6'2", big, attractive, popular, good job and makes lots of money, close to family, can be sweet, pays for things, submissive.
Yeah.
Cons: NPC, has no hobbies or interests, drinks a lot, clearly doesn't respect me, kind of stupid, not interesting, hardly an intellectual, not well read, don't have a lot to talk about together, friends don't like him, not good in bed. Ooh. Big yikes, dude. Big yikes. My list made me realize that not only does he kind of have nothing going for him, but being with him also reflects pretty terribly on myself and my values. I'm not really ashamed of myself because I met him when I was 18, but I hope I will not be this shallow of a person for my whole life. So I broke up with him this morning over coffee. He wasn't really upset and was just kind of like, damn, okay, girl, damn.
I'm going to miss them cheeks.
He did try to convince me to stay, but I was firm and we are officially broken up. I blocked him on everything because I have no self-respect when it comes to him, and I have no doubt he would try to booty call me soon if I didn't. My friends are all actually thrilled and are hosting a party for me tonight. My family was also pretty relieved. They didn't hate him, but they thought he was really stupid, and I think they're happy I won't be polluting the family lineage with idiocy on that level. So thank you everyone for the wake-up call. I guess I will see how adult life without him goes.
Oh, hey, OP.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm glad that she came to her senses. Because people will overlook a lot if someone's hot.
Now that you're saying it, like I knew that, but like really, I'm really seeing that now.
Dude,
wow.
I once flew a girl to North Carolina because she was super hot. She didn't ask me one question about myself.
I remember, you know what? It's been
documented. Hot. And we did have a good time.
That's true.
You know, she modeled for Kanye in Paris.
Really? Damn.
Anyway.
Takeaway number 4, if someone treats you like crap initially, they're probably not worth your time.
Anyway, wow. I guess the thing to learn from this one is don't focus on someone's hotness so much that you miss out on all the terrible things that they do and are.
Or fly to North Carolina.
Or fly to North Carolina and take a risk.
Oh, God.
Oh, let's go. Is my boyfriend emotionally cheating with his gym friend?
Lonnie was just helping me stretch out my good old hammies. You know, they need a real good stretching.
It's purely platonic. My boyfriend, 25, and I, 23, have been together almost 5 years. He's cheating on me, but doesn't see it.
Huh? Baby, I don't know what I'm doing.
I can't even. This girl is the stereotypical girl that the guy tells you not to worry about. Let's call her Rachel. My boyfriend, we'll call him John, and her have been friends since close to the beginning of our relationship. We were all co-workers at one point, so I knew this girl too. The first time we had an issue was a few months into our relationship when she told him she loved him.
Well, that's not beating around the bush, is it?
And that is a few months into their relationship.
Phew.
He turned her down, but they continued their friendship and she moved out of state. Yikes.
I don't know.
Yo,
That's
it's
a little
always
tough.
awkward when a friend confesses their love to you. Like, sorry, babe. Too busy. A few months after that, I went on a road trip with my mom, and he decided to take one with his best friend. They stopped near where she was now living, went hiking for the day, and she asked if she could share their hotel room for the night so she doesn't have to drive back tired. Mind you, the hotel room has 2 queen beds. Boyfriend's friend didn't want to share the bed, and both him and Rachel convinced John that I wouldn't mind if they slept in the same bed. They didn't ask me. I would have said no.
What?
They slept in the same bed.
Months after she confessed her love for him. Please
Yikes.
help us.
She moved back to the state for the summer after that, and they hung out periodically. A few months later, she asked John to help her move out of state again. She needed help transporting her stuff, which is such a boyfriend activity. Moving is a boyfriend activity, bro. Oh my God. This road trip would have entailed a 2-week car drive and staring at her now place to help her move in. John asked me if I would mind if I went. I said I would. I didn't want him to go and would consider that inappropriate. He got mad, but respected my wish.
Okay.
Things were good and quiet for a while until she moved back a few months ago, and it started at the gym.
No.
She joined the one we go to. John and I work out on different splits, but at the same time in the mornings. She started following his workout split and joining in when they were close. Then she started flirting and touching him.
No.
Not that touching. I had a conversation with him about how uncomfortable that made me and how I would like him to set boundaries with her. I didn't want to tell him to cut her off completely, mostly because he thought ultimatums like that were toxic girl behavior. So I let them continue thinking he would talk to her. The touching and flirting continued and worsened. And I learned later that he had never talked to her about those boundaries. She's flirting up a storm, bro.
Buddy. She can't find her own hotel. She can't find her own gym. She can't find her own boyfriend.
True. Like, I can't imagine that he's so oblivious that he doesn't know that this is hurtful to OP. So
After confessing your love, sleeping in the same bed.
yeah, it's pretty rough. That's pretty rough. I would have broken up if the behavior continued after I made it clear what my boundaries were.
Yeah.
Oh, God. It went from just at the gym to hanging out at her house. My family isn't in the picture, and I know he craves the attention and love that comes with a family like hers. So he started going more often. He's meeting the family. God damn. Stopped asking me if I could go, stopped even telling me he was going, and started lying about it, telling me he was with friends or picking up food. I could see his location, so I know when he's over there. I started getting paranoid and started checking his location every time he didn't respond to a text or Snapchat. He was there with her almost every time.
Wow.
Bro, this is a big yikes situation. I'm out. Today, I went to work, same as usual, but let him know I would be off early. He said he would be home when I got home and we could watch TV and hang out. I messaged him 2 hours ago that I was heading back. He didn't open the message for an hour, so I checked. He's with her. They went out together. He put her over plans with me. Girl, you got to have more self-respect. You got to end this thing, dude. He's not respecting you at all.
0%. Zero.
I don't think they're physically involved from what I can tell and what he has told me, but I can't be sure about that. He's been distant. I've been depressed. He pretended to care and pretended to want to fix things. I can't tell if he's genuine or if he's just staying with me through obligation. Is this cheating? Am I overthinking it? And there is a big fat juicy update.
Oh,
baby. But I feel like there's definitely emotional cheating going on. And I think the big thing is she made her boundaries very clear and they agreed and he violated those. So that's where I feel like it's warranting breaking up.
He violated them and then kept going over to her house all the time, lying, saying that he was other places.
The lying, that's a huge red flag. The lying, 100%.
And she's giving him so much grace, saying that they're not doing anything. They easily could be.
Easily could be. So here's the update. I'm staying on a friend's couch for now. All of my stuff is still over there, but I couldn't handle it anymore. I didn't plan on updating. Honestly, didn't even look at the comments until today. This was a way of getting my emotions out, but thank you. You're right. I talked with my therapist and my mom. Both of them said the same things. They pointed out the red flags I didn't want to see. They both clued me in on things I let slide without blinking. He's trying to text me make up, figure out where I am, etc. I think he genuinely didn't mean to hurt me, but he's also not willing to see it. He loves me, but I don't think it's coming from the right place. I think he gave up on building a relationship a long time ago and was just following the steps to keep me there. Am I okay? No. Will I be? I think so. I'm currently trying to find somewhere to live other than a couch. Rent is expensive and I don't think I can afford it without him, but I'll figure it out. I have friends on my side. I have people looking out for me and making sure I am okay. I am grateful for them. I'll update when I get the chance. For now, I'm out and I'm safe. There's another update. Another big juicy update.
Oh.
But what do you think about OP's choice?
Yeah, I mean, so clearly, absolutely the choice that she should make. It just sounds like another classic case of like, she just wasn't seeing it, had the rose-tinted glasses, believed the best, and was trying to be overly kind to him.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like when you're in love, you don't want to look at the bad stuff. You want to look at the good stuff. Even when it starts turning bad. And I think it's a tough thing to do.
That is
But let's keep going. Let's look at all the bad stuff. So, update 2. We got together to talk yesterday just to clear some things up and officially break things off.
Congratulations.
He saw this post and told me some details were off, so here's the details he wanted me to clarify. The road trip was 1 week, not 2. That's it. Other than that, our conversation consisted of him telling me I never gave him enough attention, I was toxic, and I was the problem. He has been joking around with his friends about losing the towels that I bought in the divorce, like our 5 years meant nothing. He also told me that now that I was out of the picture, he was ready to get his own place, take time to travel, and basically do things he wasn't willing to do with me. Shocking. I listened to him for about an hour and kept most of my thoughts to myself. He doesn't deserve to know them, and I'm not going to put the effort into trying to convince him anymore. He did a great job at solidifying my decision. I feel sorry for the next girl he chooses to neglect and ignore. I hope she leaves sooner than I did and listens to the red flags I chose to ignore. I hope he changes and grows, but not with me. There is one more edit. Oh. I have been put in a similar situation with a guy friend that I had known for years. It was about 6 months into John and my relationship when my old friend came out and told me he liked me and had for quite a while. I haven't talked to that friend since that day. I valued my relationship with John more than I did that friend. I have also cut my parents off quite a few times because of the things they did/said against my relationship in the past. If boundaries are crossed and there's no resolution, I have been more than willing to cut them off to preserve what John and I had. I packed my bags and left instead. He wouldn't listen to the conversations I tried to have with him about how I was feeling, or he would pretend to listen and then turn around and repeat the same exact things the very next day. I am not important to him, and he has demonstrated that in the last few days. He did this with his last girlfriend, long distance. He said he didn't love her, but didn't want to break it off. We started dating almost immediately after he cut the tie. That probably should have been red flag number 1. I'm out now. Someone who expects but doesn't give back is not someone I want to spend my time with anymore.
Boom. There it is.
Bing bong.
OP did exactly what she should do.
I'm glad she finally did it, because it's hard. It's a hard thing to exit a relationship and then stay exited, especially if you're living around the same place.
Yeah. And I think that the other thing I'm very happy about is that she was able to realize all of the things, all of the red flags, all of the signs that she should have seen before. And she now feels confident in that, and probably will bring that with her to her next relationship to potentially avoid this happening again. Takeaway 2, don't let someone bulldoze through your relationship boundaries.
And I know she's like, hey, she was talking about the 5 years and how he was making fun of it and it meant nothing. And just know those 5 years aren't a waste of time. Those 5 years were time spent figuring out how you want to be treated and how you want to be loved. Hopefully this breakup will allow you to find someone who's way better for you. My boyfriend pranked me in the worst possible way on my birthday. Should I leave him? This is OKOP, the home of the craziest stories on earth. I'm Sam, and John, what do you think?
I have some opinions, but today we are joined by one of the greatest creators in the game, living and breathing today, Jack from Redditor. Jack, how you doing?
Wow, I mean, that is some introduction, guys, I've got to say. Wow. I'm not sure if I'd agree with that, but it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for inviting me on. I'm excited.
Off rip, do you think this person should leave the relationship?
With no context at all. That's the question you're asking me. I would say for now, I'll be lenient. I'll say stick around.
Well, let's discover. So I, 27 male, met my probably soon-to-be ex-boyfriend, Alex, with a K and not an X, 29 male, 2 years ago through a mutual friend of ours. Yeah, I already
Off to a
red
terrible
flag.
start.
That's a terrible, terrible start.
I never expected he'd be interested in me because when I first met him, he had been with only women. He came out as bisexual to me and our friends not too long after that. And that same night, he hinted that he was into me. We got to know each other more and it eventually turned into the two of us dating. He's genuinely a sweet and awesome guy, quite introverted, but has a big heart and a real geek about things he likes. I thought he'd be the one I would be marrying and all that, but I'm thinking that that's not likely to happen anymore.
Hey, I thought the prank would be bad.
What's a prank ending or a relationship ending prank?
Something involving parents, I think, where it gets too
Like
out of hand. They
getting
try and
with
make a
someone's
joke
parents.
or something. Yeah, or maybe something, familial, where the other partner just is not backing it at all and just says, what are you doing involving my parents in this? Something like that. I don't know.
I got your mom pregnant.
Yeah, perfect. That is exactly
kidding.
what I was thinking.
Last Monday was my birthday and I went home early from work so that Alex, with a K, and I can go out and enjoy ourselves. I told him earlier that day I would go home early. When I opened the door, I was greeted by him laying on the couch while a woman I didn't know was on top of him. They were fully clothed, by the way. I was basically paralyzed and couldn't react at all. He eventually saw me and had a surprised look on his face, but he also looked like he was trying to hold in a laugh.
Stop.
The woman also looked like she was about to laugh at well. I also started to hear chatter from the kitchen and in our bedroom. Alex then shouted, "You guys can come out." And all of our friends came out of the bedroom and kitchen holding gifts, party poppers, and a cake, I guess, with them shouting, "It's a prank, happy birthday," while turning party poppers on. And it snapped me back to reality because after they said that, I just quietly turned around and left. Opie went out the door.
Wow. That's just a total misread of the situation, surely. Because as you just mentioned, like, we knew that he had female partners in the past. It's not as if, he's outright gay and this is
I know,
clearly a
it's
prank.
based in reality.
Exactly.
It's based in reality.
Yeah.
Why would you ever like a
Oh,
good
you thought I was cheating on you.
It's so
happy
weird.
birthday? Like,
It's not like, hey, your mom died. We're going to her funeral. Surprise, she's alive. And it's your birthday.
I mean, here's the question. I wasn't gonna say which is worse, but
Yeah, which is worse? Would you rather think your girlfriend was cheating on you for like 30 minutes? Or would you
mean,
rather think your mom was
I don't want my
dead
mom
for
to
30 minutes?
die.
What a conundrum. What a conundrum.
I'm going mom's funerals. Wait,
Yeah, I have to agree with that. Wow.
you joined on a crazy one today. I don't know what we're doing to you.
Is this what you normally talk about on this show? Wow.
It's like, wait, this is your show?
Goodness me, what an intro.
So while driving, my phone started getting bombarded by text calls and messages from my boyfriend and our friends. When it got too distracting, I just turned off my phone and went to a hotel that's far enough from my place. By the time I got to my hotel room, I just started sobbing on the floor. I think I blacked out from crying because when I woke up, it was already sunny outside. I made sure to tell my team leader first that I would be absent for a few days due to an emergency, and she was kind enough to accept my request. She probably noticed that something was off because I was sniffling and my voice sounded weak. Right now, I plan on telling my aunt who lives near my area about what happened and asking if I could live with her for a couple of days until I sort out my mind and know what I have to do next. I'm deeply heartbroken because I've told my boyfriend and my friends before how I felt about cheating. So this is a sore
there we
spot.
go. There we go. So he's just not listened.
And essentially ruined my family growing up and my young mind back then. My mom cheated on my dad and it broke our family, and I got cheated on by my first boyfriend. So there's like multiple instances. And this guy's like, let's just poke the trauma beehive.
That's what makes it funnier,
Why?
man. The trauma's what makes it funnier, according to the boyfriend.
Yeah, right?
That
yeah.
is
So
true.
hilarious.
That is true. That's why I always throw fireworks into the veterans hospitals.
Wow, I found someone else that does that as well. Amazing.
Yeah.
Just kidding, by the way. I would never do that on record.
Sure.
But at the same time, I can't help but feel like I overreacted and that I should have just went with it all. I still don't plan on opening my phone, so I'm using my laptop right now to type this. I don't know how to face and respond to them all after what has happened. Maybe some time from them will help, I hope. And there is a big, fat, juicy update, but what do you think? What do you think about what OP said? Leave the boyfriend? Should they just take time away from all their friends? Because not only, like, this is what is the tragedy, is it's not only a betrayal of the boyfriend, it's a betrayal of every single
That's what
friend.
makes it worse, right? It's all your friends that have all thought the same thing. Yeah, this is a really funny idea. We know the trauma that he's gone through in the past. Very, very odd behavior. Just very, very strange. I don't really see how that could ever be funny.
Conspiracy theory, putting on the tin hat. The boyfriend who did the prank was trying to kickstart a prank YouTube channel. Take the money
And
from that prank
invest in
YouTube
the
channel
wedding.
and invest in the wedding. Give it to share it with the partner. Like, hey, we can create this business together that can fund all of these great things.
Milk your trauma for the earth.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, Jack, all of us here have read thousands of Reddit stories. We've seen kind of crazier.
We have. And I've seen people forgive people for crazier stuff.
And we're not even close to done because there is a juicy update. So, for context, I found out my mom was cheating on my dad at 14 years old. So I got home from school early and found the house empty. I went upstairs to go to my room, but as I got nearer to my parents' room, I heard these faint sounds, and it didn't help that the door to the room was slightly open. Curiosity got the best of me, and I decided to take a peek inside, and there she was. My own mom cheating on my dad with his coworker.
Oh,
I felt like I was going to be sick, like it was some sort of nightmare. I froze there for a few seconds and just watched.
Oh my God.
Before my dad's coworker noticed me and immediately alerted my mom that I was watching them. When my mom finally realized what happened, she started calling me out and tried to follow me. Like naked?
Oh, yeah. She had time to put clothes on yet? Or she's just, wow.
cool it, mama.
Oh man, this is traumatic. She started calling me out and tried to follow me, but I got to run to my room and locked it before she could catch me. She was knocking hard on the door, but all I could do was cry. The realization that the person I was calling, my mom, wasn't the person I thought she was hit me like a ton of bricks because I used to adore my mom. She was always around while my dad was working full-time, which made me resent my dad because he was never around. I remember hiding in my bed sheets and eventually falling asleep. I was woken up by my dad knocking on my door and calling me to come out. I had to comply, of course. And when I opened my door, my father was standing in front of me with my mom behind him. Oh man. He gave me a tight hug and asked me about the guys who bullied me while I was walking home from school. And I was confused when he mentioned that.
Mama's lying again.
But then I saw my mom looking mad at me and basically telling me through her face that I should go along with it, which is, as much as I hated it, I went along with it because I didn't want to hurt my dad. Since then, I've decided to fully ignore my mom unless it was for a chore or something important. And when I moved out at 18, I made sure to go no contact with her and only talk to her when my dad wanted me to. My mom and dad eventually divorced after I moved out. Turns out he always knew, but didn't want to do anything about it until I moved out because he didn't want me to live in a household riddled with arguments and stresses brought upon by divorcing couples.
That's terrible. I was literally about to ask. Does he know or does he know now?
He knew.
Wow.
He knew. It didn't really work, but I appreciate my dad for still looking out after me, even if he was hurting. Then, when I was 19, I got into my first ever relationship. Or we're just going through all of the trauma.
Yeah, this is a movie right here.
This is important,
This is a
right?
movie, yeah.
Surely her friends and surely the boyfriend knows this, right?
One would hope so.
I think maybe not. I think maybe the boyfriend doesn't know that.
Yeah, maybe not.
We had a pretty nice first start and we were each other's first. But when I found out he was cheating on me, things got really ugly. I know this is not an excuse, but I was young and didn't know how to handle that information when I got it. And knowing how much I hated cheating, I basically went crazy on him, and not in the sexual way.
Not in the fun way.
And turned to destroying his stuff, deleting all copies of his thesis, and even went as far as doing this insane Facebook rant where I exposed his cheating and posted pictures of him and the guy he was cheating on me with, and even mentioned his mom and dad in the post and outing him without his consent.
No, that's good. That's good.
Whoa.
That's good revenge. That's justified.
Jack is all about the revenge.
Dude, nuclear mode.
Yeah, I love it.
I deleted the post just 2 days after. Jack's like, no, get
No,
it freaking
get it
framed and signed, baby.
Run it up.
But the damage has already been done, and my ex ended up moving away and living in another area because of my post. One Facebook post can change someone's life. Obviously, I am thoroughly embarrassed and ashamed of what I've done, and I still regret doing all of that. When my aunt found out about what I did, she gave me a pretty stern scolding and insisted that I get checked by a psychiatrist because what I did isn't normal and it's not. And I got diagnosed with severe depression, and the doctor also said I had unresolved trauma. I think we're no doctors, but
Yeah, I could have told you that one.
yeah, OP, but who can resolve seeing something like that?
Dude.
That's very hard to resolve, which confused my aunt. But after telling her what happened 6 years ago, she fully understood why, gave me a tight hug, and cried after I spilled everything to her. OP, we're not here with you, but
Glad the aunt at least seems to now be a support system.
There's
Thank God he has some support by somebody in
Yeah, at
his
least
life.
there's somebody out there. My goodness.
She felt bad because she wasn't able to do anything to help me before, and now is extremely mad at her sister, my mom, for doing all of that to me. Even since then, my aunt has helped me get therapy and meds that I needed and essentially turned into my mother figure. My ex and I don't talk much these days, but we've made amends and are on good terms now. That is crazy.
Wow.
To make amends after that.
Why?
Jack's like, trash that and burn it along with all of his shit.
Exactly.
Let's make another Facebook
Exactly.
post.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Now that all of this stuff from the past has been finally laid out, for those wondering why I did that, here's the actual update. Now we're getting into the actual update. That was just context. This is why we're actually here, ladies and gentlemen. After I submitted my original post, I packed my things that night and prepared to go to my aunt's house, which wasn't that far, but still a bit of a drive nonetheless. When I finally got there, she was incredibly welcoming, and I thanked her for allowing me to stay in the house even for just a while. She gave me a tight hug and told me I was always welcome and that she will be there to help me when I need her to. She eventually led me to the spare bedroom that they have in their house and helped me unpack my stuff. She's honestly such an incredible woman, and I love her so much. She's basically the mom I've always wanted. Once I was done unpacking, I was again confronted by the fact that I haven't opened my phone for quite some time now, right? Because last we left OP on last episode of OKOP, we left OP crying in his room, not looking at his phone because all of his friends betrayed him, and typing that Reddit post on the computer.
In a hotel room far away from everyone he knows.
Yes. I mean, honestly, move to an island. Dude.
Just
you gotta isolate.
Full send it.
I've avoided it for so long that I didn't think I could open it again, but I knew. The moment my phone booted up, the moment hundreds upon hundreds of texts, chats, and missed calls popped up on my screen.
Oh,
I'm just imagining like
yeah.
just like a Gatling gun of barrage of messages.
Oh, the anxiety of like going through all of those and just wondering what's in it would be horrible.
I mean, how many unread text messages do you guys have?
See, I read mine.
Right, how many
quite-
do you?
I read. I don't.
How many
let
do you
them
have?
sit. I'm a reader.
You're at 0? Jack?
I mean, yeah. Normally, I go through them all. I don't like the having like 45
You're at
unread.
0? I'm at 578.
47.
Dang, you're a good person. Even if I was still hesitant, I decided to open up my chats and looked at our friend group's group chat first. The chats from the start were all very frantic in nature, with my friends asking about where I was or what happened. But after scrolling down a few more times, the chats turned into them apologizing that the prank happened at all and that it was not the plan. One of my friends even blamed the girl that was on top of Alex, my boyfriend, and thought she was untrustworthy. Finally, the chats ended up being them hoping they could contact me and wishing I was safe. I guess they knew I just read their chats because as soon as I was done backgrading, my friends immediately knew I was online and asked how I was doing and where I was. They also started apologizing again for not being able to stop the prank from happening and that they didn't know that that was going to happen and they thought the original prank was going to be something else.
Yeah, sure. I don't know about
That's what
that.
I would say
I'm
too.
suspicious
I
with
don't
Jack.
know. But what else would the prank have been apart from like what else? Like if you're a friend, what are you imagining the prank's going to be apart from what actually happened? What, they're just like sitting on the sofa or
Well,
something?
it would just be a regular surprise. Yeah, just like a regular surprise.
They're like, surprise!
Yeah,
Oh,
surprise
okay.
right here. Not
Yeah.
like, you're cheating.
I just impregnated this girl. Oopsie, just
Oopsie.
kidding.
I mean, maybe. I don't know if I buy that. I think they knew.
I buy it. I buy it.
I'm
I
kind of
buy
with
it.
Jack on this one.
At this point, I was thoroughly confused because they seemed happy enough to be there during that night, but I knew I had to apologize to them first for ghosting them and asking their side of the story first before speaking about what happened. So OP's going to sleuth mode.
Okay.
Detective work, Sherlock Holmes over here. Essentially, they were simply planning a surprise birthday party for me with Alex in a group chat that didn't include me. Then my boyfriend added a few more people into the chat saying that they were college friends of his and he wanted them to be a part of the surprise too, since they also wanted to meet and get to know me better. As a suggestion, one of my boyfriend's college friends pitched the idea of them pranking me. The plan was my boyfriend is going to be on the couch with a serial killer holding a bloody knife and fake my boyfriend while the killer was on top of him and while my boyfriend is bleeding everywhere. What?
That would be better, would it?
Not only is she him, she's killing him too. My boyfriend's college friends thought it would be funny to see my reaction. Although my friends were initially skeptical, they reassured them that it would be a harmless fun and that once my boyfriend and the friend who will be acting as the killer got their desired reaction on camera, they can just tell me that it was all a prank. And my friends and my boyfriend's other college friends would come out and surprise me with their gifts and stuff. My friends eventually agreed, so as long as they don't drag out the prank and immediately reveal everything once they captured my reaction on camera. Do we buy it?
So they were originally going to do a murder prank and film it.
Yes.
Jack, what do you think?
I don't know how long they've been together. I've forgotten if OP mentioned it earlier, but surely he knew a little bit about the trauma. If not, you're just a terrible boyfriend anyway, if you knew all about this. I don't know. I don't buy that many people, that many friends being involved in something. And then all of a sudden, they're just like, oh, we didn't expect this. It just changed, as you said, in like those 30 seconds.
Well, let's see where it goes. The day of my birthday comes, and eventually they've planned everything, and it seems to be going smoothly with them waiting for me. My boyfriend's college friends ushered everyone to hide while they set up the prank, and when it was done, they would hide too. When they finally heard my boyfriend say they can come out, they thought the prank was a success because I looked absolutely mortified, but they knew something was up even after the prank was revealed. I was still looking shocked and almost teary-eyed until I finally turned around and left. They were understandably shook and confused, thinking the serial killer prank was too much, but knowing me, I wouldn't have minded at all because I love scary movies and am an avid horror enjoyer. That was when they realized that my boyfriend's female college friend was on top of my boyfriend, not wearing any serial killer costume and not holding any fake bloody knife. They then saw my boyfriend pushing his female college friend away from him and chasing after me. Some of them also tried to follow me, while some were asking what happened to the original plan. Even my boyfriend's other college friends were wondering why their female friend wasn't in costume, but she was just silent. After a few minutes, my boyfriend came back to our apartment looking distraught and crying. He then tells everyone that they should all go and proceeds to go to our bedroom. They wanted to ask him what happened, but he shut the door before they could. His female college friend then followed him inside, which really weirded them out. But after a while, they hear my boyfriend shouting at her, telling her to f off. Then she goes out the door on the verge of tears and leaves the apartment. They said everything happened so fast they didn't know how to process it all, and as it all happened. Not too long after that, though, they realized that I was missing and started calling and texting me, but I didn't respond to any of them. Eventually, I was unreachable. I turned off my phone and decided they should just go home and wait for me to respond. My boyfriend's college friends apologized profusely to what has happened and didn't mean for any of this to happen, but they basically just ignored them. Then they followed their retelling of their side with videos that they've recorded proving their accounts. So all of OP's friends are like, here's a video, here's what actually happened.
Because they were planning on recording it.
Yep.
Oh.
Along with an apology and wishing that I was doing well. After my friends told me what happened on their point of view, I felt really terrible and apologized again for ghosting them and telling them that everything that happened was none of their fault. I told them that I would make it up to them soon, but they reassured me that they accept my apology and are just happy that I'm alive and well. They also pitched to have a late birthday celebration with me this weekend, and my boyfriend and his friends aren't included this time. I, of course, happily agreed and thanked them for being such great friends, and that I couldn't thank them enough for being such an awesome bunch of people. And there is some major tea coming up. Now that we have this information and the videos, do we forgive the friends?
No, I still don't buy it. I don't understand. Maybe I'm too cynical. How is this possible, right? So all the friends apparently are hidden away, waiting. They don't see the girl in costume at all. They don't see any fake blood, right? So what? They're just hidden away while she's supposed to be getting ready and changed and stuff.
Yeah,
how long that would take? I don't know.
You do need a long time to put blood on and like
get your costume on and
right?
Stuff.
Yeah.
So they were like, they should have been like, wait, why weren't you like getting ready?
Yeah, exactly.
And also, I want to know what's in the videos as well, because like, what if they're just videoing themselves behind a door? It doesn't prove that they didn't know what was going to happen or what was happening. I don't know.
Jack is a forensic detective right here. It's like, I want receipts. I want the videos.
Listen, this is why we had to bring him on the show.
Well, let's get into this major tea. So the morning of the next day, my aunt knocks on my door and wakes me up, telling me that I have a visitor downstairs. She looked a bit mad, so I can already tell who it was. It was my boyfriend, Alex with a K, carrying this beautiful bouquet of flowers and my favorite chocolates with him. Even if he looked amazing, his face was the complete opposite because he looked like he was crying for days. I asked him how he found out about where I was and told me that once I turned on my phone again, an app on my phone that we both have notified him of my whereabouts. It's basically an app that allows you and your trusted friends to share your locations in real time as long as you have an internet connection and your location is on. It's like Find My Friends. I was a bit frustrated that he actually came here to my aunt's house, but nevertheless, he was already there, so might as well hear him out on what he had to say. He basically reiterated what my friends told me, but he added in some more details that my friends didn't know about. Apparently, his old college friends reconnected with him after he lost touch with them after they graduated. They found his Facebook account and through some searching and wanted to ask him about his life after all of these years. They were especially happy when he told them that he currently has a boyfriend because they secretly knew he was bisexual, but didn't want to make assumptions or make him feel weird about it. Alex eventually tells them about me, and he mentions that him and our friends are planning a secret surprise birthday for me, and they immediately wanted to be a part of it. After they were added to the group chat, they started suggesting ideas on how to make the surprise much more fun until their female friend, we'll call her Anna, suggested they do a prank to surprise me. Alex's college friends were immediately on board because they saw TikToks of it and they thought it was really funny. But my friends were obviously skeptical. Eventually, they agreed what the prank is going to be and that the prank wouldn't take too long. Anna volunteered to be the serial killer, quote unquote, since it was her idea, and they all went and did their parts of the surprise so that everything would be ready when my birthday comes. The day of the surprise party comes and everyone prepares for my arrival. When Anna and Alex went into their assigned positions for the prank, he wondered why she still wasn't in her costume and why her props were missing. But all she could do was reply that she forgot. I don't know. Where is it?
Forgot.
Alex offers to find the costume and props, but Anna insists that there's no more time and that I was going to arrive soon. Alex at this point was extremely uncomfortable and wanted to get out of their position, but before he could do it, I've already opened the door and saw them. He admits that he effed up by laughing a bit at my reaction because it was exactly the reaction he thought I was going to make, but immediately realized what it looked like and called everyone to come out to save himself from the embarrassment and give context to what I was seeing. When he realized that that didn't work, he forcefully pushed Anna away to change after me, but he wasn't able to keep up once I got into the car because OP's fastest. It then sunk in to him that he effed up big time and that when I drove away, that's when he remembered my trauma about cheating, which made him cry while returning to our apartment. He tells everyone to leave and retreats to our bedroom, not really knowing what to do. To his shock, Anna comes inside our room unannounced and starts comforting Alex. He repeatedly tells her to leave and that he'll be fine. But what really sets him off was Anna asking him, so does this mean you're single now?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Anna was trying to get in on it. That's when he realized she did everything on purpose. Alex then shouts at her and angrily asks her to leave, which she then complies to after looking like she just embarrassed herself. Alex is in tears at this point, and he tells me that he wishes he just didn't agree with the prank. He's cut off contact with his college friends for now and is incredibly sorry about what happened. He then starts hugging me really tightly and says that he loves me so much and that he's scared of losing me. His words alone also made me cry because even after everything, I still love him deeply, and I do believe everything he said. After a minute or two of us hugging and crying, he lets go of me and tells me that we should be back together at our apartment, but that if I still need time and space, he'll gladly give it to me. I gave him a kiss and respond to him with me asking him to help me pack my stuff. I gave my aunt the warmest of hugs and told her how much I appreciated her for helping me. She was happy things got resolved, but also jokingly threatened my boyfriend that if he did something stupid or hurtful to me again, she will personally whisk me away to safety and away from him. My boyfriend laughed, but I think he was just hiding his nervousness. Now I'm back in our apartment, and Alex even offered to throw away the couch that was used for the prank, but I declined since it's a pretty nice couch, and everything that has happened was something no one wanted, aside from Anna probably. I've already made amends with my boyfriend, and we've forgiven each other, and my friends are happy that things worked out in the end. Alex is probably now invited to the weekend party, but I've yet to ask them, haha. Don't worry. I'm also going to get in touch with my therapist soon and book new appointments with her per the suggestion of my aunt. This has all taken a toll on me, but I'm glad to have the support of my boyfriend, my friends, and everyone who has read my posts and shared their support with me. And I also realize that this update is probably not what most of you wanted. And as much as I was close to just giving it all up, I never had a reason to in the end. And I'm glad I got to hear their sides out before making any huge decisions that I might regret later. And I do trust my boyfriend and my friends since they all sounded sincere and they did have proof to back it up. I think this is going to be my last update since everything seems to have been resolved, but I'll try to make an update if something else happens. And you guys thought everything was resolved. But there's a new update and it gets dark.
Wow.
Are there any red flags that you have seen in this story?
You see, like, I'm back on board now with Alex with a K. I feel like that was a very good response. I was happy with that update. I felt like it was all pretty legitimate and everything made sense. Like, so I'm disappointed to hear there's an update and then there's more tea to come because clearly, something's amiss once again. But I'm back on board with Alex. I don't know what's going to happen next.
There's more to pour.
And I'm going to pour it right directly into your mouths.
Oh boy.
I am ready. This is some story, by the way. I've got to say, this is a marathon. It's unbelievable.
This is definitely my last update about this mess because quite frankly, I am tired of all of it.
Can imagine.
Yeah, I'm not tired. I'm sorry that your pain is our enjoyment.
It's always the way.
Speak for yourself.
I don't know. You're laughing a lot, John.
Well,
Seems like you're having a pretty good time.
Laughter
I
is the
hope
best
these expense-
medicine
Yeah,
for pain. So
OP, I guess if you're watching this, you are healed. A few days after my previous update, Alex, my now ex-boyfriend, came up to me while sobbing and confessed he hasn't told me the complete truth
I was suspicious.
about Anna. Apparently, him and Anna were a couple back then. She was his first girlfriend, and he did a lot of his firsts with her. First kiss, first date, first blub, first over the pants blub, first bukkake.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm kidding. Just
That's very naughty.
Shouldn't be doing that, Alex. Everything else I'm on board with. That, come on. Let's be sensible.
the icing on the cake. Once they
Quite
graduated-
literally. Oh, my gosh.
Oh,
What? John, you know what a is, right?
is that where you take a dookie on somebody? I forgot.
Oh, did you ever have Urban Dictionary? Once they graduated, Anna broke things off with him because she couldn't handle a long distance relationship and didn't want to be tied down yet. But maybe save that for later. Anna breaking up with him caused him to go into a spiral and develop severe depression along with self-harming tendencies, something he still goes to therapy for. It took a lot of work for him to get out of that hole and be a functioning human adult again. But things apparently didn't completely change for the better for him until he met me. As I quote, I was the light at the end of the tunnel, that he desperately wanted to get out. But I guess ghosts from the past have their way of coming back to haunt you. A few weeks before my birthday, Alex's college friends found his Facebook and contacted him to reconnect. Things went well for them until he was added into their group chat that had Anna in it as well. As what he said, it definitely reignited some old feelings that he had, and it also didn't help like Anna was acting like nothing bad had happened between the two of them. They agreed to meet up and catch up, and one thing led to another until that one thing ended up being them having every day up until my birthday surprise.
Oh my God.
Every day.
Every day?
Every day, bro.
I didn't expect that level of frequency.
It only really hit him how much he effed up and realized that he was doing something incredibly when he saw my devastated face after seeing Anna on top of him for a prank that they supposedly planned for me. Oh, it only hits you then? It only hits you then? Oh, I realize I effed up. But the 20 times that we were hooking up before, that was completely kosher.
It's all good. Hey, I didn't see his face react to it. How would I know that he would have a negative reaction?
Exactly. You don't
How
know
would I
until
know?
you try. You don't know until you try. According to him, he was trying to bring back those strong feelings and emotions that he once felt back when he was with Anna. But seeing me look ruined and distraught made him realize that what he had with me was incomparable to what him and Anna had. So I guess that's what led him to confess and be all remorseful. Because, babe, I didn't realize how much I loved you until I cheated. So really, we should thank her.
This is just wow, is all I can say. I just didn't expect that.
Of course, I had to hear him apologize and cry in front of me. And I did cry too, but I couldn't bear being around him anymore after hearing all of that. I then calmly told him that I don't want to be here with him anymore and that I'd be leaving the apartment and sort things out once we're both in clear states of mind. He didn't like that one bit and started sobbing like crazy and even went as far as hugging me incredibly tightly just so I wouldn't go. It was a struggle, but I eventually got out of his clutches by pushing him hard enough away. I ran as fast as I could, ironic, to get to the car and immediately headed to my aunt's house. When I got there, I just sobbed in my aunt's arms and felt incredibly weak. She probably understood why I was crying so much without asking me why, so she started consoling me until I was too tired to cry. Yesterday, I got a call from a friend of Alex that he's in the hospital after being found unresponsive because of self-harm. Okay, wait, I'm going to pause right here. Jack, do you go to the hospital?
That's like a 50-50, honestly. I don't know.
Coin flip?
Probably not, but then
Jeez.
sometimes you just think, okay, this guy is in such a bad place. I'm just gonna go one time. And
Yeah,
just,
like if I can be the thing that saves a life. Like
yeah,
maybe.
exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't want to go because I'm obviously still hurt about everything, but Alex doesn't have any family anywhere near him, and I'm the only one who knows about his medical history and details, and technically his closest family. So I had to. When I got there, his arms were full of bandages and his face looked all puffy and red. Right now, I'm outside his hospital room waiting for his doctors to give me an update or tell me anything or something that I should do. He also hasn't woken up yet, so I'm bracing myself for when he does. Truthfully, I do still love him very much, but what he did just made it clear for me that we're just not meant to be together. I don't know what I'll do moving forward after all of this, but I'll just let the universe take the wheel for me at this point. I just wish things didn't end up this way. And as for me, I'm doing mostly all right. I didn't want to stay in the hospital for long, so once I got to give the doctors the necessary info and stuff, I left immediately. My aunt then helped me get all of my stuff from our apartment and also called our landlord about our shared lease. Our apartment was full of liquor bottles and it was just an overall mess, so it took a while for us to get my stuff. And I also did some cleanup before I left. It was sort of like my final goodbye to them. Even if my relationship basically ended there, I also had a ton of fun, happy memories there, and I'll definitely miss it. Right now, I'm living with my aunt for the meantime while I look for a new apartment. My friends still don't know what happened, and I think I'll tell them soon, but definitely not now. I just want to rest and sleep and hopefully wake up to a better day. Once again, thank you all.
Whoa.
I mean, this feels like a impossible scenario. It's like without having gone through something like that.
I mean, definitely don't get back with Alex. I mean, that's...
Please do not do that.
But I'm like serious about that because like the emotional connection is obviously strong.
Yeah.
Alex is obviously, hurting a lot, and you might be emotionally inclined to be like, oh, I have to be there for my ex. But like, I that's not something I think would be good for either Alex or OP.
Yeah. It's just one of those things that's just like impossible to imagine not having gone through and just an insane scenario to have to navigate.
Like where's the time for Opie to take care of himself?
100%.
That's, I mean, I guess this is probably a form of therapy, writing all of this out.
Yeah. And Opie deserves all of the self-care and pouring back into his own cup.
I know.
In the world, in the universe, space-time continuum.
Yeah, I don't know how he has any stuff in his cup to go over and help Alex, but
100%.
he does because like, Opie's a good person.
He did. So, I mean, truly shout out to OP.
Shout out to OP.
What a man.
Not many people could go through what you went through and come out on the other side okay.
Truly. I think that's what I'm feeling as a conclusion is like OP really like stood up, did the right thing.
But John, do you have a story for me?
You know what? We do. My boyfriend forged his Harvard application. He lied and said he was gay to get accepted. Should I break up with him? This is OKOP, where we read the craziest true stories on Earth. I'm John and big producer Riley. Do we think this is an offense that should warrant a breakup? It's pretty crazy.
This is very crazy. I think it would have to warrant one. On paper, he's gay, but if he has to like show that he's gay.
What happens? What happens when you have to prove? You have to prove what you put down. We need receipts.
We need receipts.
How do they verify?
How do they verify
That's
this?
the question. My goodness. Wow. Well, Riley, there's only one way to find out. Spill that tea. So, choice evidence 1983 says, my 21 female, boyfriend 20 male, wants to lie in his law school applications about how he's gay. My boyfriend's Asian American. He's had a very high pressure and I'm pretty sure physically abusive childhood where his parents wanted him to go to an Ivy League university at all costs.
Oh.
That's not good, right?
I like that.
Riley doesn't like it. Let it be known. He didn't get into any and believes this is primarily due to his race and not his merits. Because of this, he thinks it's completely acceptable to lie on applications if merit isn't the primary factor anyways. His parents have continued to put pressure onto him to either get a prestigious job or to go to a prestigious school for grad school. And really quick, I'm very curious if you could look up, Riley, percentage of maybe Asian Americans applying to universities versus white Americans. He seems to still want to please them. His application for law school is very good. Our university advisors think he's got a good chance at getting into a top 10 law school. He wants to get into the top 5, however, and suggested to me that he pretends that he's gay. He's bi, not openly, but definitely not gay. We are dating. I said no, and after an argument, told him that I will break up with him to pretend he's gay if that's how he wants to do it. So basically, I think delivering little sass and being like, I don't want to be a part of this. My parents think I was too harsh. How should I deal with this? We got to take a really quick pit stop at the top of the story because
that's
we just
a lot.
got a lot. What did we get any stats?
So the stats for like Asian Americans is roughly 20 to 25% in Ivy League schools. And then for like white kids, I guess it's like between 40 and like 35%.
Interesting, because I wanted to look it up because I feel like I've seen like headlines or something of like Asian Americans being turned away either from jobs. There was actually like a big case while I was in Silicon Valley of people suing a company because like in the makeup of the employees, like Asians were like over indexing so much that they're like, we want to diversify and give opportunities for other people.
Wow.
Not just Asians. So I haven't really like dug into it, which is why I wanted to do a little bit of quick research. But yeah, it seems like in certain cases, there's been this thing of like so many Asians in a particular thing that some of these organizations are maybe trying to be like, hey, we need to like try to get other people and potentially limit the amount of Asian people getting it, which I think is what the boyfriend is like trying to, or like is thinking with all of this, which is like a wild thing. And then also he's bi. I'm like, why not just put that on the application?
Yeah.
If he's trying to kind of like use it to like to his advantage, which like, hey dude, go get yours. And if he's actually bi, why not just put that on it?
Why do you have to be like full on gay?
Like, why did he have to just like full throttle? I don't know. Which also like it's.
Aren't you still part of the LGBT community?
You're still part of the community, and I would argue, you know, it's all a spectrum. So I'm like, maybe the girlfriend is being a little bit too harsh in that he actually is. It would be one thing if this was like super duper straight man and you're just like, yo, I'm gay. I'm getting into this school
Yeah.
because I'm gay. Like, but if he's already bi, that to me is like he's part of the community. He's on the sexuality spectrum. You know, he is. You know, he's not just like cis straight male. So I don't know, dude. I feel like he could put that and be totally cool, and also like
He says he's bi, not openly though. Maybe he has to like spread his wings a little bit, show out.
maybe, but I'm like, to me, I'm like, this is. I mean, my parents never saw my college application. Like, I feel like if he was like worried about his parents finding out,
Oh
then,
yeah, I see.
you know what I'm saying? Like, he could put it on the application and probably be okay, unless unless the parents got together as a parent-teacher conference. I don't know, but I was just so flabbergasted with all of that insane information at the outset. I had to,
Yeah, I thought at first he was
comment on
trying
that.
to get like a scholarship or something like that,
right?
and like he would have to pretend to be something else that he's not, and then
To
have to
get
be a
into
part of
the
that
scholarship.
community,
Yeah,
and like do like a whole whatever just to.
he's just trying to get in.
Oh,
Period.
Wow.
Period, trying to get in. But like, we're talking top 5, like the Harvards, the
Gotcha.
Stanfords, like the top 5 Ivy League is like the hardest schools to get into on like planet Earth,
Wow.
basically. So Riley, let's keep reading. This is crazy. My boyfriend believes he was a more qualified applicant than everyone else in his class, but he didn't get into any Ivy Leagues, including a case where he and his best friend at the time, a girl, were waitlisted together on one of them. She was called for the waitlist and told him it was definitely because of her race, white, gender, and because her family was able to pay full tuition, whereas his wasn't able to pay really anything. She offered to decline it for him so he could go instead, but he refused. Okay, God, I gotta stop super quick again. So it's seeming like at least part of where his thought on like, oh, I'm getting denied from my race is because he had a classmate who was white who got in from the wait list.
White and female, basically like the opposite spectrum.
And she's able to pay in full, and he can't pay much, if anything. Wow, my God. Quick edit. I didn't write that last part clearly enough. It wasn't literally a trade and opportunity offered by the university, but there were only 2 students from that school, as far as they knew, to be waitlisted. The school was the largest in the geographic area, so they thought that he was next in line due to being a more qualified applicant on the objective stats, but less favorable in other areas. Obviously, we'll know since he told her not to turn down the offer. Also insane that she wouldn't have been the a-hole in the slightest if she took it, you know, because it's like, I mean, it's on the school ultimately to like bring in the people that they should be bringing in. But like, what an offer from her. Like she's the angel here. My goodness.
Yeah.
Anyways, he's done extremely well for himself in college, unless he really F's up the interview, and he's gone to several mock interviews on the off chance. That's why he didn't get into any of the Ivy Leagues and passed with flying colors. He's practically guaranteed a spot at the top 40 law school at our university, in-state privilege, and our pre-law advisors told him that he's got a great chance at the top 10. He doesn't believe they're being completely honest. However, he's not interested in the top 10. He is interested in the top 5. I think it's because of his mom primarily, who I know calls him every 3 days and seems to barely ask about his life and instead asks about the status of his application, where he's thinking of applying, etc. He actually really loves his mom and says that she was nice to him, but from what he's told me, she was just not as bad as his dad. Lesser of two evil. Oh, that's bad. It makes me sick to my stomach to realize that after everything he's done and went through, he still wants the approval of his parents. After a particularly long call yesterday, he seemed thoughtful and distracted for most of the night, and then he came back to me today to ask if I'd be okay with him taking pictures of me off of his social media, and I edit/delete captions with certain pictures to make it seem like we're just friends, not dating.
Ooh.
Okay. You know, again, I think he should have just put that he's bi on the application. Like, that's just a no-brainer. Tell the truth, what you literally are. But this is like, I think probably where it's poking OP's sore spot even more, because he's like, yo, let's pretend we're not in a relationship so that way I can, you know, say that I'm fully gay, not interested in women. Like, I could see why this would doubly, triply piss her off right here. I asked why, and he said he thinks the best move for him is to say that he's gay on his application. He showed me some drafts to the personal essay questions that he wrote up about being gay. God. They're all really insightful and everything, but it's not completely true and authentic to his life. The crazy thing is that he is bisexual. He doesn't tell almost anyone because he's afraid his parents will disown him if they found out, but he reluctantly showed me pictures of his ex-boyfriend from our freshman year of college when we were talking about our exes. I asked him why he doesn't just say that, because that's actually true. A great question. He laughed and said, nobody will care about that. Wow. And then went into an explanation of how the epistemic, what does that mean? Epistemic.
What? Epistemic contract of bisexual is the tendency to ignore, remove, falsely, or re-explain evidence of bisexuality in history, academia, the news, and other primary sources. Oh, it seems like this is what he went into about his like application or essay or whatever.
The epistemic contract of bisexual erasure. So that's like is that like an article or something?
So it's basically like in history, I guess it is an article, but in history, like people will erase like, oh, this leader wasn't actually gay. Or
right.
Like this
it's like bisexual. So it's just enough to like, they can like ignore or like remove the fact that they were bisexual.
He had one fling with the guy, but he's actually had many wives.
Right.
So like,
okay.
they just
got
erased
it.
the whole fling with the guy thing.
And that actually kind of made sense. I actually don't care about taking down social media posts or whatever. It's only temporary. And even if it's not for whatever reason, we'll still have those pictures. But the reasoning is what I don't like. So I told him point blank that I wanted to support him as much as I could, but I wouldn't do it for his quote unquote outdated need to please his parents. We argued for a bit until I just said that I'd be happy to pretend he's gay by breaking up with him, but nothing in between. Ooh, I don't know if she's joking or like half joking.
Yeah.
Or basically being like, listen, you want to be gay? Fine. I'll break up with you. That'll be so much easier, won't it? That's the vibe that I'm picking up, but kind of hard to tell.
Oh.
He looked hurt by that and said that we should go back home. We don't live together and think about it again. Wow. I told my parents who love him, and they actually surprisingly seemed torn about whether lying about being gay was really that bad. But they did agree that threatening to break up with him was too far. I was completely floored by this. So now I'm turning to the internet.
You guys.
And us. I know playing up things you did is a standard part of applications, but this seems too far. If it's not too far though, then yeah, I crossed a line by threatening to break up. What do you think?
Wow, this is a lot to break down.
Jeez, this is a scenario for old John and Big Protein to break down solo. But let's dive into it. And right after we got some relevant comments too.
Yes.
But
how are you feeling, man?
Oh man, this is kind of a hard one. Like OP's point and his whole thing about the like erasure of like basically it seems like the like marketing of bisexual and like being able to like so easily dismiss it has made it like kind of a non-factor on the application, which is so sad that these things just become that on an application, but I'll put that to the side for now. I mean,
think about it from OP's boyfriend's point of view. Like, this is a life-changing opportunity to get into a school.
100%.
I don't know what kind of career he's thinking about doing, but like lawyer, doctor, big money.
Changes family's life forever.
Changes his family's life forever. And if you think about this relationship that he's having with OP, like people have girlfriends right before they go to college. They usually don't last. Like hate to say it, she might be the one. Yeah. But like long term,
yes,
this seems like the thing to best benefit him. It sucks. Yes. But if he really wants to take this serious and he feels like this is the only opportunity. Yeah. Like that's what I'm reading.
I think it's kind of hard to blame him. I don't know if it's the right thing to do, but it's like it's hard to blame the dude. Yeah. In all honesty, because they're almost in a way kind of like dangling the carrot of like unintentionally, but it's this like it's the perversion of the actual intended goal where it's like, okay, if I just like stretch the truth a little bit on this part about myself, then that'll help me change my life and whatever my family and whoever's life forever. Yeah. Right. But I also totally see what OP's saying about like ultimately he's just doing this to impress his parents. Like, I wonder truly in his core if like he even really cares about getting into this top 5 university beyond, like OP said, like he has his pick on any of the top 40 and probably the top 10.
Oh, see, that's my thing too. He can definitely get into the top 10.
Yeah.
I just want to know what his passion is. Like, how bad does he actually want it?
Yeah.
Like, if he's like, I want to be a doctor and do this, this, and this, then you have to be like, okay, what are you willing to sacrifice?
Yeah.
But I feel like he can go to a top 10 school, get a doctor be a doctor, a lawyer, or whatever he wants to do, and still have the same amount of money he would have even if he went to a top 5. You know, maybe a little different, but he would be living comfortably for sure.
Yeah. The one thing I will say, and this is just like a more of a outsider's view, is I feel like a Harvard today is maybe still worth it, but maybe like the number 10 school. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
Just because of the like Harvard, Stanford, like the brand is so strong.
Okay, yeah.
It's of like, you know what I mean? Like it's like number 1, number 2,
Go Jack.
Go Jack. Yeah. Shout out if you watch the Bali episodes, you know what we're talking about. But ultimately, I think like if we want to go back to the boyfriend's self-interest,
Yeah.
I think what'll happen here is this could come back in the future to bite him.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
Like if anyone ever found out that he lied to get that on his application to get in,
Ooh.
his career might be ruined. Whereas if he simply honestly shares his experience being a bisexual man and having also say that you have to hide it from your parents,
Okay.
tell your story.
Yeah.
Like that to me, I think would resonate with somebody who's looking through applications
Okay.
and like connects with them versus like him like basically lying and being like I'm gay and like deleting all of it. That part's so funny and crazy.
I definitely see that point. But
Yeah.
it's like, it's really like,
It's a tough one.
it's a tough one.
It really is. So guys, put in the comments, do you think the boyfriend should just go for it and stretch the truth to get in
to the top 5.
to top 5? Put it in the comments below. We're a little stuck. I think we're a little stuck on this one, but we got some relevant comments that maybe will shed some light. So this comes from Everything is Salsa. The bottom line is that your boyfriend asked you to lie about something you weren't comfortable about lying about. That's a good point. You said no. You get to do that. A good partner won't pressure you to do something that you don't think is right. I don't think it really matters whether his lie is objectively morally right or a good idea. There are intersection marginalities here that would require a lot to unpack. There's also a lot that goes into the risk reward decision of lying on the law school application, kind of like we talked about.
It's law school. Dude, that changes.
Yeah,
a
it
lot.
kind of does, dude. They be looking at them things, bro. They kind of look for lies. You didn't want to participate, so you set a boundary and offered him an out. I think you should continue to stand your ground and stay true to what you think is right here. OP, realistically, he didn't actually need to tell me anything. He could have just privated his accounts, and that would have been good enough for the purpose of any admissions committee looking up his social media, unless they somehow and for whatever reason tracked me down too. Extremely unlikely. The only thing he actually needed me to do is not email the school he's applying to and say he's not gay, which I wouldn't do anyways, and wouldn't have even considered doing that had he not told me. So paradoxically, I actually appreciate that he's being honest with me for once after dodging pretty much any question about serious stuff with his home life. He definitely has some trust issues, and I'd feel pretty crappy about myself if I just made them worse over something that actually wasn't that bad. So to me, it does matter if this is fairly benign, like exaggerating how many people are a part of the pre-law clubs he's president of. His application says around 500 members, which is true of the number of people on the email list, but only like 50 people show up to meetings. Man, I hope he's a real stickler over here. Or if it's worse than the standard selling yourself on the application. If it was something like lying about his competencies, then I'd have no part of that. I don't know if I'd go so far as to alert the schools he's applying to, but I would definitely break up with them. I don't know if lying about being gay is on that level, and I'm getting mixed messages. Yeah, I think so. Going back to the original comment, honestly, God, there's so many arguments you could make here.
Yeah.
You could kind of argue if he did what OP was just saying and he kind of just like did it on his own and didn't like implicate her by like, which ultimately, I mean, what's really going to happen to her? But like, if he didn't like ask her to be part of the lie, then that is better. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he definitely could have gone. My thing though is like the law school and your morality, because honestly, this feels like a test of what kind of career you're gonna have.
Dude,
If
that is
you're
so
able
true.
to do this on an application to get into a school and you get in, like, it's kind of corrupted.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah,
gonna
it is.
follow you.
It is.
It will, and it'll show up in other ways.
It's bad karma for sure.
Yeah,
It's
it'll
bad karma
definitely
for
come up in
sure.
different ways. So
Yeah. God, this is so
Yikes.
crazy. Another comment comes from Malanine. Is it unfair to say that he didn't get into an Ivy League for undergrad because he is always trying to find a way around doing the actual work? Wow, that's funny. OP, yes. He showed me in his college applications when I told him it was pretty crappy to say that he got denied from Ivy Leagues because he was Asian. He was made valedictorian at his high school, made International Science and Engineering Fair, scored well on the American Invitational Math exam, but not well enough to qualify for the United States of America Mathematical Olympiad. He had a perfect ACT and SAT, everything else you generally expect from someone that gets accepted into an Ivy League, club leadership, community service, athletics, etc. His essays were good and remind me of the papers we write now for our third year of college. He did admit that he was a little socially awkward before coming to college, so maybe he flubbed the interview, but it's hard to imagine that he messed it up that badly compared to the weight of everything else on his application.
I'm seeing a few things that he's missing to get in, but what do you see from this, from everything that we read so far, like why this school has him on the wait list and doesn't apply him in?
Yeah, I mean, probably my gut take on what's happening here is that his application looks super good, but might not be all the way up to like the top 0.000000001%. I mean, like, I don't really know. I was a college dropout, so I don't really know like what exactly it takes at that level. But I have to imagine that like everyone's got like, you can only get a perfect SAT score. You can't go above the limit, right? And that's what it seems like a lot of people are, they're basically competing for and in the same stuff. So I could see like thousands of applications where they're all the club presidents, the perfect SAT scores.
Oh yeah.
And then at that point, what do you have to differentiate yourself with? That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Being gay.
Being gay. Woo!
Dang, that is
my
such a good
goodness.
point. But like, so I guess what would have made him, this is what I'm seeing that's different. The reason why that one chick got in was, one, I think she just had the money for
Correct.
it.
I think, yes. I think that's in that case why that happened.
And then two, maybe like little things like, I mean, he said he was socially awkward. If you're that smart, like, not saying you can't be smart and like perfectly social, but like you're more mathematically, or, you know,
You might be a little, like he said it himself, he might be a little bit socially awkward and not be like the charismatic, like
you're just thinking a whole nother level than everybody else.
Yeah. And so honestly, when everyone has the same literally perfect application, what else do they have to judge people on but the interview? And they're like, well, this person seemed like I left inspired, like I just went to a TED Talk and this guy like was kind of awkward and didn't really compel me. They'll probably use that.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, they got to use something.
They got to have the best of the best.
Yeah. And like in one sense, you kind of can't blame them to a degree, because it's like, I'm sure so many of these applicants seem exactly the same on paper and probably in their interviews and everything too. Like they're probably so freaking similar.
Yeah.
You can only get perfect SAT score. I don't know. Maybe if people who have gone to big colleges or maybe in admissions, please educate us on this, because I am truly clueless. I'm just pulling guesses out of my wazoo. But Riley, you want to know a fact, Riley?
I think you have something for me.
A fat, juicy update. Let's sip the tea. Thanks everyone for the advice. Both of us were busy with finals, so we agreed not to talk about it until we were finished. And most of our time together was just studying anyways. After our last finals yesterday, we sat down and we talked. He said that he wasn't going to put that on his application and that I didn't need to do anything like take any pictures down. Okay, so he's decided not to do it. There we go. He apologized and said that he was in the wrong to prioritize our relationship below something that would only give him a marginal advantage, if there's any advantage at all. We've been dating for 2 years and he thinks that there's real potential for us to be the rest of our lives type of thing. That should have taken priority.
Okay.
So that was good.
He sees the future.
He does. Then I started asking him some questions along the lines of what I saw commenters say, and he was confused and then got angry. He correctly guessed that I'd posted on Reddit about it. He was really unhappy about that, but he said he'd pretend like that didn't happen as long as I didn't do it again. So I guess this is my last time posting here. Oh, wait. Wait, is she doing this update after he was like, just don't post again? Oh my God. He said no to pretty much everything commenters suggested. Therapy, cutting contacts with his parents, but he did say that if there was a situation where he needed to choose between having a relationship with his parents and having a relationship with me, he would choose me.
Yo.
That is big. That is big.
That
big,
changes
big.
a lot of things.
Wow.
Like his determination. Yeah. Whoa.
It wasn't everything I was hoping for, but it's a good start, and I'm hoping that I don't have to go through this again in the future. Wow. Okay. I think that's the end of the story there, right?
Yeah.
So, oh goodness. Wow. There's just like so many things to unpack with this story, but to pick one thing to choose and focus on, it sounds like, you know, we talked about in the beginning of like, hey, maybe not as, maybe not on him lying on his application, but like, let's say if he was like, hey, I have to like fly and live somewhere for a year in order to get into this university that will change my life and will like be long distance or something. That's like a case of like, oh, you know, this relationship might not be forever, like you said, but I like my career is forever, you know, and like me being able to get opportunities for myself and like my future family and my parents and whatever else. So I feel like it's fair in certain instances to prioritize, like if he's like, hey, I have to live somewhere and we have to be long distance for a year.
Yeah.
That to me is with conversation and with, you know, trying to like work it out, a reasonable thing to bring to the table to discuss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this one was, just such a weird one.
Yeah. And honestly,
to bring
like,
to the table.
Like his mom, I feel like was like very harsh on him. And like, that's the weight why he was willing to do all of this.
Yes.
But like, he's smart. He's a smart kid. Like he's going to be fine with whatever he chooses or does.
Yes.
And I think now he's seeing that and it's good now. Like he sees a future with her and he's like, I don't want to give up this relationship.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's good for him.
My hope is that he, like him choosing his girlfriend and, you know, potentially like future wife over his parents, to me is saying maybe one day he'll also choose his own happiness.
Wow.
Over like just going to the school his parents want him to go to and all that. But I totally empathize with your parents being like just on your neck, keeping the boot on you and being like, listen, what are you doing? And just constantly having to like just being harassed constantly and not wanting to deal with that. But dude, what a crazy one.
That is super crazy.
Riley, you brought a good, this is a different flavor.
This is a different
which
flavor.
Would think is a good one for the OK fam.
This is pretty good. I hope you guys are enjoying all these that I'm finding. But
I just read a bunch of comments being like, Riley is finding some crazy bangers because hey, can we get we love big protein in the comment section? Can you flood the comment section with love for our boy? Do it now.
Stop it.
Do it now.
You know, I do have something for you though.
What?
Another story.
Let's do it. Boyfriend brought his female friend a Tiffany necklace for her birthday. I feel weird about it. Should I break up with them? And this is OKOP, home of the craziest true stories on earth. You know me. I'm John. This is Sam. And we have our lovely guest from the Am I the A-Hole pod, Danny and Shannon. How are y'all doing today?
Great. Excited to be here.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having us.
It's so good. It's so good to have y'all. Definitely check out their podcast. All the links will be below. But we have to ask the question, should this person break up with their significant other? They got a Tiffany necklace for somebody else.
Oh,
for their female friend.
Oh,
Yeah.
female friend.
Female friend.
That's crazy.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought she was like, yeah, it's a piece of crap Tiffany.
Oh, right.
I want something better.
Try Hermes next time,
Yeah.
okay, buddy?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what do we think?
Brand.
I would need to hear more, but my gut is saying break up with them.
Yeah.
Break up with them.
Same.
I always think they should break up with them.
I think if you get a
Absolutely.
gift for anyone else other than your partner, break up with them. Get a gift for your mom?
Not your mom.
Christmas
No.
is
Any
hard for
gift.
you.
Gone.
Sister, absolutely not.
Done.
He's like, I'm done with
You should
everyone.
only be showering your girlfriend.
There we go.
I
Yep.
agree.
You don't buy a Tiffany for just anybody, though.
Yeah.
How
That's
much is that?
true.
Is it
They're expensive.
expensive?
Even their sterling silver ones are like at least I would say like $500.
Ugh, and that's sterling silver.
Exactly.
That's like-
Imagine the gold.
That's not nothing. That's not nothing.
That
but
ain't nothing to sneeze at.
let's get the actual context and the actual story here
All
to
right,
make a
let's
judgment.
hear it.
I'm excited.
So this comes from GFQ. They say, help me decide if I'm blowing this out of proportion before I overreact.
Okay.
We will. My boyfriend of 11 months has a best friend, a girl best friend.
Yep. Yep.
Mhm. I've been totally fine with this from the beginning because she was there before me and they've been friends since college. They are both 27 years old right now.
Okay.
Mhm.
Although I feel it's important to add that they've never had the chance to date because they were both in relationships when they met.
Okay.
They've never had the chance.
to
Let's
date
chance.
each other.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
That's worded a little.
Yeah.
Like, you think something's going
If
on.
they had the chance, they
Yeah.
would be dating. They've
Yeah.
never had it.
She's also been single for the past 3 months.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Here's her chance.
Yeah, even better chance. Her birthday is this Friday. And my boyfriend wanted to get her something really special.
Oh, no.
Why?
I thought that was sweet of him until I realized what he had bought for her. Now, I feel like it's extremely inappropriate, and at the risk of sounding like a bee, I want him to take it back. He claims that she's been wanting the specific necklace from Tiffany's forever. So he bought it for her.
Oh, it's like
Okay.
$500 at least.
I think
Well,
so.
he refused to tell me how much he spent on it, but I found an identical one on their website and it costs $250,
Okay.
which we
Okay,
have a
that's
picture.
cool.
Editors put in the picture in the notion there.
That's only $250.
But
That's
he's getting her a
gold.
heart,
It's a good
like
deal.
heart,
A heart,
jewelry.
yeah.
Kind of
love.
a goofy heart.
I don't know.
Kind of
It's a silly
noodle.
heart.
It's a silly heart.
I reserve the real hearts for you, babe. Yeah.
I feel like if you give anyone like a heart type jewelry, that is a sign that you're like somewhat hitting on them.
I think so,
Yeah.
yeah. But also, because I know Tiffany's, okay? And that's a Elsa Peretti heart. That is like a classic of Tiffany's.
Yeah.
And that is like the signature, like love necklace. And I really, if it's that
okay.
exact one, there's no way that's only $250. Like 2,500, honestly.
No way.
Yes, it's gold.
Let me see. I'm pulling it up. They also gave us the link here that I'm looking at real quick.
Honestly, $250 kind of changed how I felt.
'Cause
I was
it's
like,
not
that's a lot
that
cheaper than I
expensive,
thought.
yeah.
It is a
you
lot
know?
cheaper than I thought. I'm seeing like 2,700, 1,000, 1,500.
Yeah,
I'm
that-
seeing those kinds of prices. Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing under 1,000
no,
so far.
gold would not be
Look
under
at that. Oh, here we go.
that small
Open hard
one,
pendant.
And
Six-
that's super small.
and that's the tiny one is $675.
yeah.
I feel like it's like 1,000.
Maybe they're missing a zero on that.
Oh,
That's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking.
that could definitely be. It could have
If it
been
was
a typo.
$2,000.
Open heart pendant, though, sounding a lot like a surgery. I think we need a different name.
Well, my man needs some surgical precision to pull this off if he's going to really give this gift
Facts.
over. So, to put it mildly, my boyfriend's really excited to give it to her. He says it's also a thank you gift for helping him get through a couple pretty crappy semesters at graduate school. She's extremely smart and was in the same program as him.
So we've been spending a lot of time together studying.
A lot of time
Late nights.
grinding hard on those
Oh,
textbooks.
geez.
Oh.
This is not being set up for winning.
Opie says, okay, fine, but a necklace? Why not a gift card or something less romantic and not
okay.
so extremely expensive?
Expensive.
She wants to have a friend date with him on Thursday as an early birthday celebration. So he's going to take her out for lunch or dinner on Thursday, which means they're going to get drunk.
That just sounds like a date. If you give someone a heart necklace
Yeah.
after dinner, that is
On
a
a
date.
Thursday too.
That's a date.
That's
That's a date.
basically the weekend.
And they're going to get drunk.
Yep.
That's a date.
It's perfect,
Yeah,
right?
we're gonna go back to her place and light a few candles, but it's
So
just a friend.
platonic.
Just platonic candle.
candles.
Get a
Yeah,
bath
come on.
together. Platonic bath
Platonic
bombs.
bath.
Platonic
Just
bath.
put platonic in front of everything and you're safe.
Yeah.
Chilling.
Wow. I've never had a problem with this girl, but I don't like how close they are. She's always been nice to me, but I can't help but feel like they might have some underlying feelings for each other.
For sure.
Yeah. How can I solve this? Perhaps I could suggest to him that we both get her something. That's an interesting idea. And they have him take back the necklace while we still have time. Any ideas here? And we do have some relevant comments and some updates, but let's take a break here, y'all, and discuss this.
I like how her solution is just like, let's just get her more stuff.
Let's just keep showering her with gifts.
So that's what I don't understand. It's like, okay, now you want to spend money on her? It doesn't really make sense.
So
But
what
at
do
least
you?
it's like diversifying the love
Yeah, it's
packages.
not
You know, it's not
so-
coming from all one person.
Not so lovey.
like, yeah, we
lovey-dovey.
love you, not he loves you.
Right. It's like a unit instead
Yeah,
of
exactly. It
just
almost strengthens
him.
the relationship a little bit, where
Right.
it's coming from the relationship, that present.
Yeah, like a united front
That's
kind
true.
of
Exactly.
thing.
I feel like she's just going around confronting him and just trying to make it something that it's not. It's like clearly a gesture on his behalf. You can't just undo that.
Do you think he's innocent here in his intentions?
I mean, hearing that it's if it's thousands of dollars, I'm like, clearly not. That's just an inappropriate gift.
Yeah.
But I mean, whatever. You know, if you're really rich or whatever, I guess that could not apply.
That's
But,
true.
Right,
We
that's
don't
true.
know.
I think it's a
Yeah.
percentage of monthly income.
Yeah, we
I
need to
think-
know his income.
Yeah,
Let's
like-
get his tax info.
If it's over 25% of your monthly income, then it is a love gift. That's the rule I'm
I
making.
mean,
That's
25%.
the
Yeah, that's, I would say even less maybe.
Yeah, like 10 or
10%?
5.
Yeah.
Because like what is a gift that you would also not just get like a friend, but a friend that you want to make sure you're not like sending any mixed signals to. Like I could see, it could be cool, like a little group activity or something, like a Groupon for making pottery. I don't know. Well, that's kind of
Yeah.
No, I feel like you're onto something. Like,
What am I doing?
Have you
No,
seen
that
the
makes
ghost?
I
sense.
feel like experiences though usually get a pass for these kinds of things. Like
Yeah.
as long as it's not too intense. Like if it's like we're taking a solo trip to Hawaii, it's like, okay, that's a romantic trip.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, a group thing to like the pottery making shop
Right, or taking her out to eat, even if they like went out
Yeah.
together and this wasn't somebody that like, I just feel like at the root of it, the girlfriend feels like this is someone that he's like, oh, you don't need to worry about her kind of person
Yeah.
in their lives. Like it's one thing if it
Yeah.
was just truly like, it was like, oh, it's like his best friend. He's known her forever. I'm not threatened. But the fact that she has all of these other worries, I feel like that's just the sign within itself.
Yeah. I feel like there are a lot of signs that this is a little bit more than just friends. And everyone can see it, but
Yes.
OP.
That's right.
I mean, I guess OP
yeah.
does see it, which is why she's writing this
Exactly.
Reddit post. Yeah.
Well, you want to know what I also want to know is what kind of gifts does he get her?
Yeah.
that is a great
Is
question.
he getting her Tiffany's?
I went to JCPenney's, babe.
Babe, I had no room left in the budget after I got this. Oh, that
I
would
wish
be
she
tough.
had mentioned that.
Yeah.
I
Like, what
feel
did you
like,
get for your last birthday?
Right. I mean, I feel like since she didn't mention it, it does kind of sound like he gets things kind of like this for her, gets her nice gifts too. Otherwise, I feel like she'd be like, he doesn't get me shit like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'd be even more of a red flag.
But you didn't get him through grad school.
That's true, but like,
But
it's
she
like,
did,
how
though.
did she not?
Like,
you
yeah,
know?
exactly. Like, yeah, maybe she didn't help him get like ace his final exam, but she was like emotional. Hopefully, I don't know.
I don't know. The emotional support doesn't deserve Tiffany's, I guess.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
god.
it feels like now that he knows she's single, he's like kind of
Laying
trying
it
to
on
get
thick.
in there.
It's just so suspicious.
Jewelry, not really a man gift either. You know what I mean? If you got her like a PS5, I'd be like, yeah, you did.
Yeah. Here's some
Yeah.
barbecue, like freaking
Yeah,
spatulas
yeah,
and stuff. Let's go.
Yeah,
deep
actually, that's
smoker.
interesting. Like, if it was the same amount of money, but it was something like not as romantic,
Right.
Yeah.
would it be
I don't think it would be seen as
an
bad.
issue? Right.
At least
Because
less bad.
jewelry is
Yeah.
so, it's like that is meant for your romantic
Yeah.
partner, unless it's like your mom getting it for you, but you're not supposed to give that to friends.
And heart-shaped jewelry too.
Yes, that's
heart-shaped
another
jewelry.
story.
I mean, it's like almost the. I feel like it's the equivalent of giving like a bouquet of roses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Like a very expensive bouquet.
A very
Yeah.
expensive bouquet.
Like 10 bouquets.
Yeah.
around.
A room
A bouquet
full of
on a
roses.
chariot with a white horse.
Exactly.
But we do have some relevant comments here. So Cora Snora says, I hope to hell that you are going on that quote unquote friend date with them. I mean, you can't be an intrusive presence if they're just friends, right? To which OP responds, she made it pretty clear that she wanted it to just be the two of them since they are the quote unquote best friends.
Ugh.
I don't know if I necessarily like don't agree with that. Like sometimes you just like with some of my like male friends, it would be
That's
a little
true.
bit intrusive if like my girlfriend came on from just trying to have like
Yeah.
one-on-one friend time.
We've
So I
talked
don't
about
disagree
this
with that.
before, and it's like those couples that are just like one entity within each other, and it's like you invite your best friend over, and then she's like, "Okay, we're coming over." It's like I didn't mean both of you.
Yeah.
So I definitely understand that, but just with the fact that it's like they're the opposite sex, and there's clearly this tension happening, and he's about to like practically propose to her.
Imagine if that was the update.
Oh.
I got a
be
ring
it.
for your necklace. Whoa. My God. And then we have another one. This one is from Deleted. As a female with a male best friend, I still feel that this is really, with a bunch of E's, not cool. I'm picturing my male BFF giving me this, and I would feel so awkward about it. And I've known him since age 3. This is a gift for a significant other, not a friend, and I would absolutely not want to receive it from my guy friend.
True.
It would confuse the crap out of me, and he hopefully wants to get it for her simply because she told him that she wants it, and he wants to get his friend something he knows that she will like. Women are often difficult to shop for. Is he buying her flowers and candy too? Sheesh.
Oh, I love a good sheesh.
Opie responds, "Oh, freak, don't get me started on the flowers."
No.
Wait,
He gets her flowers?
what?
We had an incident on Valentine's Day where he sent her some.
Give me a break.
Come on. Okay,
Oh,
he's
it's over, OP.
if it wasn't clear,
over.
yeah, he's so cross the line. He's way over
He
the
has
line.
a double life with her.
Yeah.
He does.
She's mad at him for buying this girlfriend.
Yes.
Yes.
He's getting heat from both
Yeah,
ends.
yeah.
Oh my God. He knows better now.
How do you not know better?
He clearly doesn't. Opie added an edit. I will explain. She got dumped the day before Valentine's Day and claimed to be sad because she wasn't going to get any flowers. My boyfriend, being the great guy that he is, got her flowers.
It feels like she's fishing for boyfriend presents. Like she's
Oh,
like
the
she's
friend.
like, oh, like no one's gonna get me flowers, and then he gets some flowers because he's
yeah.
like, oh, I really like this Tiffany necklace, and he gets
Right,
the Tiffany
because that's what it
necklace.
was. She suggested.
Yeah.
She said she wanted it.
Yeah,
the
maybe she's
Tiffany's
planting
necklace.
these present ideas so they'll break up.
Got all these rose petals in a bath running. Can you help me, mister?
I
Oh my
wish
God.
I had someone to share it
I'm so
with.
clumsy. I don't know how to work a bathtub by myself.
I do like what that one comment said though about like how awkward it would
be,
be
yeah.
if like your guy friend did that. Like I didn't even think about it being the other way around. Like if you truly just your best friend was your platonic best friend and they were like taking you this romantic dinner and getting you a Tiffany's necklace, I would kind of be like, oh wow, like
This is too
this
much.
is feeling a little more intimate.
Yeah.
But clearly
Yeah.
she likes it.
She wants it to be
She
intimate.
wants it.
Yeah.
She does.
She wants it, honey.
So we have a big juicy update we're about to dive into.
Oh.
And I have to offer the tinfoil hat if you have a conspiracy,
conspiracy.
as to what's going to happen in this update. Do we
Okay.
have any conspiracies?
Oh, on
Don the
update.
tinfoil
Yeah,
hat.
Don,
if you're ready.
do you got one, Shannon?
I feel like we're all saying that.
What is that?
Well, that they're already been cheating, but
Yeah, I would say the
Oh,
big
boy.
conspiracy theory is that they've actually been in a relationship the entire time.
Aha. Okay.
And
Yep.
she thinks OP's the other woman.
Well, I think the friend knows about OP,
The
right? That
relationship.
they're in a relationship.
They know about the relationship, but I feel like I agree that
We
they
don't
both feel
know.
like
We
they're
don't
the
know.
main and they're just waiting for the
Yes,
right
and the
time.
other one is the side chick.
Yeah.
Yes. And she's like, yo, dump your girl and get with me.
Yeah. And he's like, I will. Just, let me save enough money up
For this Tiffany's. What
It's
is
an
this?
emotional affair.
What if the gift was like, he's like, babe, I'm going to do it. I'm going to break off, I swear. And she's like, you know what you need to do for me? You need to give me this Tiffany's necklace that I want. And we have to go out for dinner for my birthday.
Yeah.
to
And then
prove
buy
that you
me a
love
Bentley.
Yes.
I think she's just milking him for all he's worth, actually. And then she's hitting the road and getting the hell out of there.
Oh, that
Whoa.
would be rough.
Hot conspiracy takes over here. I love it.
OP's hubby is the sugar daddy, basically.
Yep.
And that's all he's being used for.
Wow.
Yep.
I like this. These are great.
I like milking the conspiracy theories.
Oh, yes.
'Cause
Oh,
those
yes.
actually also look like little nipples.
They really do.
do.
Yeah.
We have been told before. When are the nipple hats going on the merch store? You'll see.
You'll see, but we can get back to reality and get into this big old juicy update. I had a sit-down talk with my boyfriend this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
He was very supportive and understanding for the most part. I explained my feeling to him regarding the Tiffany heart necklace, and he immediately agreed to return it.
Oh.
Okay. He seemed really disappointed over it, but he understood where I was coming from. So what we are going to do was buy her something together as a couple. We had already come up with a list of ideas and planned to go shopping tomorrow until.
Oh no, not the until.
We love an until. The friend date. Here we go. This is where things got ugly. I explained that I was uncomfortable with the situation because I felt like she had feelings for him, which he disagreed with.
Oh.
Okay.
I asked him if it was okay if I came along, and he said, probably, but I should tell her first. So I told him to text her and ask if it was okay, which he did right in front of me and immediately, and she replied, I guess, sad face emoji.
Are you kidding me? And she saw it.
I guess it's okay. I know you love her more than me.
Wow.
That is a feels red flag on her part for sure.
Red flags. Red flag
for
alert.
sure.
That is a, yeah.
Well, I mean, it
She's-
seems like you don't send that if you're not like a little bit interested in that person.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Because what, like to me, if I'm like, if me and Sam are going on a hot little dinner date, and
I'm
then
gonna bring Naima, and I'm like, sad face. I thought it was just gonna be us spending alone time.
Riley tries to, be a third and get in the mix.
Riley's
I'd
been
be
trying
like,
to do that for
hell
ages.
yes. I would be vigorously
Of course.
excited.
Who doesn't want to? You might have the chance to go home with him and see his room.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He showed us his room, and it is green.
Wow. You all interpret that as you will, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, one day we should do a Riley's room tour. I think people
He
would
said it's
appreciate
the best
that.
room in the house, boys.
It's beef.
To you guys.
It's beef. So this is getting back after the sad face emoji was received. As we were sitting there talking, she sent a second text that said, why can't it just be you and me?
Oh, this is so cringe.
He replied and said he wanted me to come with them, which seemed to piss her off because the next thing that she sends is weird. So if I invite you to the blank concert next month, it'd just be you and me. I already bought you a ticket.
Okay.
Oh, she's getting jealous, dude. She's getting
Yeah,
jealous.
she is.
He responds and says he can't promise anything. Next thing you know, she texts, great. So in other words, your girlfriend's being a bee and not letting you see me alone. I have to go to work. We'll just talk tonight.
Wow. Yeah, there's something
so
going
many red
on.
flags, dude.
What the F? This just proves that she is a snake. I told my boyfriend I wasn't going to put up with it and that he needs to start making some hard decisions. Immediately, he agreed and said that he would fix things. He said he'd end the friendship if he had to in order to keep me.
At the very least, he is being somewhat understanding and like
Receptive.
Yeah, receptive, and he's gonna make some like consolations.
Maybe he just had the rose-tinted glasses of the friendship and the history too of the friendship, and now that OP kind of like is breaking through, he's like, you know what, you're right.
Yeah.
I see reason now.
Right.
So I guess they're going to meet up and talk tomorrow. Oh yeah, and F her birthday. So we do have a final juicy update.
Okay.
I'm hoping that the friendship is over. That's what I'm
Me
hoping.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like she's
Or-
been calling the shots the whole time, and he's been like, "Yeah, whatever, I'll get you that."
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like she's like manipulating him a little bit.
And it seems like he's doing the same thing in his relationship too. It's like, oh, you want me to end the relationship? Yeah, I'll end the relationship.
Yeah.
My man's just a pushover, just steamrolled left and right.
I almost hope that they break up and he
Yeah.
goes and just dates his best friend.
Do you think that's the real relationship that should be had here?
They've known each other for so long.
I think OP needs to get out because it just seems kind of like icky anyway, of like how he's treating his best friend. It seems like he's prioritizing her over his own
And the fact that he
girlfriend.
couldn't do any boundaries and put any boundaries up, I think that's a red flag.
He's
too.
got to know
Yeah.
to an extent.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
babe, I go where the wind takes me.
Do you guys like agree with that theory of like, I feel like a lot of people have different opinions on like platonic female male friendships. Like I've heard people being like, oh, well, the guys always want to their female friends. But I have a lot of relationships with the guys where I'm like, I don't think that.
Yeah, I definitely disagree and think that platonic relationships can happen. I think like a big thing is shutting it down if anything ever happens, or if there seems to be any sort of inkling of anything, just immediately shutting it down to, and also checking in with your partner and seeing like, what are they comfortable with too as well, and making sure that's true. But yeah, I agree. I think that it's totally possible, but obviously like we've seen can get
I feel like
especially
it
when
opens
there
up to
is
diciness for sure, especially if there's attraction in at least one way, which like often there is.
Yeah.
I feel like it can get dicey, but I don't know. I feel like that takes Shannon as super like early 20s stuff where it's like, I will hook up with her. And it's like, I mean, I have so many girlfriends that I'm just not interested in that way, you know?
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think like as you mature, you're able to have more of those relationships.
That's true.
Like, nah, I seen you ugly cry. Nah, not really.
Emphasis on the ugly.
Gave me the ick.
yeah, I got the ick.
Oh man. Well, guys, we get the conclusion
All
of
right,
this
let's
saga.
hear it.
Let's
Here we go.
Final update about 3 weeks later. I apologize in advance if this comes out as a huge effing mess. It turns out he is not as innocent as I had previously thought.
What? Who could have seen that coming?
We never knew. And now I feel like an effing fool here. Last night, I stayed at his place and we talked about it some more. He said he was going to return the necklace first thing this morning. Well, he lied. I went over to his place on my lunch hour and the damn thing was still lying on his nightstand. What a damning
nightstand.
place.
He didn't even hide it.
Yeah.
Still in the box or out of
And
the
that
box?
box is bright blue. You can't miss that.
Okay, there you go. He claims he forgot to take it back and will have to do it later, which, I mean, that is plausible.
He just left it there. You know, it's pretty plausible.
In my gut, I felt like he was stalling me, and I was right. As I mentioned in my prior post, my boyfriend and his best friend were going to have a talk today. I honestly believed that he was going to distance himself from her and explain to her that her actions were inappropriate. Well, that didn't happen. After 2 hours without hearing anything from him, I texted him to find out what was going on because I wanted to see him after their talk tonight. He responded and said that he was just going to have the night to himself.
Right.
Sure.
Convenient.
Maybe somebody else. Right away, alarm bells are going off in my head because he's sending me short texts and is barely answering any of my questions.
Oh my God.
I told him his evasive behavior was really beginning to worry me, and he replied and said, I'm sorry, I'm just confused.
Oh, so he has feelings for her. Yeah,
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
I texted back, what do you mean you're confused? Confused about what? He took forever to respond, but eventually admitted he was confused about our relationship.
Yep.
Shocker.
Uh-huh.
Instead of fighting over text, I went over to his place to figure out what the problem was. F around and find out,
What
my
do you
friend.
mean figure out what the problem was? We've been talking about the
think
problem
it's
this whole
clear.
story.
It's
right here.
We know. It's right in front of you.
Could be anything.
Yeah. After lots of arguing, he finally gave me the truth. Apparently, during their friend talk this afternoon, she told him she's had feelings for him since college, and it's gotten to the point now where it's hard for her to be around him.
Whoa.
I asked him if the feelings were mutual, and he replied, I don't know.
Well, that's a
That's a
yes.
yes.
In other words, yes. I asked him what else was said during this talk, and he said that she basically feels bad because she feels like she's ruining our relationship and getting in between us. Well, no.
Yeah.
That's when he brought up the idea
Wait.
Taking a break.
of us possibly going on a break so he can sort this friendship out. Honestly, I thought he was like, that's when he brought up the idea to bring her in on the relationship so he could figure this out as a unit.
Exactly.
But that's not what it was, to
Yeah,
be
it's
clear.
like it's the same as bringing her in on the gift giving exchange,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. We bring her a gift, we bring her a relationship. It's the same thing. Tomato,
and
tomato.
also the going on the break is so obvious that he is going to try and see what happens with the other girl.
That's what
Because
figuring
then
it out means,
It's
correct?
like, like
Let me just
being
date
able
her.
to cheat.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Just give me a hall pass, please. Just do it.
Exactly.
I told him I would never agree to something like that because it just gives him the license to sleep with her, which brought up to my next point. I asked him if he ever cheated on me with her, and suddenly he became very defensive.
Oh.
He said they only fooled around back when he was single.
Okay.
Funny how he never mentioned that before.
Yeah.
Which I can see why OP is like,
Well, yeah, you never want to hear that
yeah.
his
not
best
fun to
female
hear.
friend they hooked up before.
Not that he
Like,
has necessarily violated anything yet, but
It's
Oh
awkward.
yeah, he should have told
I
her
feel like
that.
It is a violation to keep that
Yes.
from her.
I think. Yeah,
I feel like that's something that
absolutely.
we like, oh yeah, we fooled around back in the day. I feel
Yeah.
like once that comes up, you say it in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
and he
that
didn't
is-
want to, because then how's he going to get to hang out with her and bring her a
Yeah.
heart-shaped
Yeah.
necklace without arousing suspicion?
Right. Yeah. Babe, I couldn't tell you because you wouldn't let me buy the $3,000 necklace, okay? Let me live. I told him I didn't believe him because of how defensive he was. He then admitted that she kissed him during their talk, but he pulled away after a couple of seconds because he felt
After a
bad.
couple of
A
seconds.
couple of seconds. That's
I think
a
that's called
long
kissing
time.
back.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's downplaying it even in this like
Oh, of
truth saying. It's
course.
definitely a partial truth for
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. But
They probably fall on.
sure.
yeah.
At dinner on the table
Yeah.
in front of all the
Everyone
waiters.
get out of the restaurant. I'm making love to my new lady. But quote unquote, that's all that happened. Yeah, I'm not stupid. Even if it was just a kiss, he should have made it clear to her that he wasn't interested and also ran to the girlfriend immediately and be like, yo, she just tried to kiss me.
Yeah.
I'm getting the F out of here. 'Cause
Yeah.
This is not the
Because
move.
it's suspicious to keep that information. Like a good boyfriend would say like exactly what happened immediately.
And remember, he was staying so much longer. He was like so
Yeah.
short in text. It's like, what were you doing that whole time
Yeah.
that you couldn't get to
And
Exactly.
your
also,
phone?
I bet she was at his house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that's what she was saying. It's like, yo, I'm here. Where are you? Not this. I don't know if I have feelings for her BS. At that point, I told him we were done.
There we go.
Yes.
There we go.
We love to hear it.
Our relationship is over. I don't want to be in a relationship with someone I cannot trust. He didn't even fight for me. All he did was apologize and said that he didn't mean to hurt me. Whatever. It's all BS. All the signs were there, but I chose to ignore them. The flowers, the watch. Wow.
The watch.
Okay.
Where did that come
Yeah,
from?
I cut her a Rolex.
It went with the Tiffany's, okay? The heart necklace, the way she acted around him, etc., etc. All the signs were there.
You just don't want to see it in the moment, you know?
Exactly. I'm really trying to look at the bright side. I know I deserve better. Yes, you do, Queen.
Amen.
I already feel like a weight has lifted off of my shoulders. My relationship wasn't going anywhere, especially with her in the picture, and I should have just ended it earlier. I'm extremely grateful that this has happened now and not a couple of years down the road when we were engaged or something like that. I have plenty of great friends and family to lean on for support, so everything will be fine. I am moving on for good. Thank you to everyone for your help over the past couple of days. It's been really therapeutic writing all of this stuff down.
Yeah.
Happy ending.
There we go. Yes.
I mean, I don't know
She
if it's
got
like
out.
happy, but it's better to drop that boyfriend than to keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
I'm curious if they ended up together.
Yeah.
The best friend and the boyfriend.
That's
I
the update
bet.
I want.
Right.
Yeah, I think they got it. I mean, they've known each other so long.
Yeah. And clearly they're, best friends for
Mhm.
a reason. And I'm not really rooting for them per se, but
Yeah.
I guess if you're gonna have that happen, it's nice to have a little
Better to
It-
have
that
it
it's
for
worth
love.
it.
Yeah,
exactly.
You
right.
know?
We say that sometimes where it's like, it's almost kind of worse when they just like hook up once, completely blow up their relationship, and then they're just like
It's all for nothing.
at least commit, you know?
Yeah, because then
Exactly.
both parties are just super upset, and
Yeah,
at
exactly.
least one person gets
Although
a happily
I think
ever
it would
after.
hurt so
But it would
bad,
hurt so bad.
though.
That's the
where
flip
it's
side of the
like,
coin.
oh my God, you actually did find someone that you want to be with forever. Like, it would hurt so bad, but it would also be like, okay, well,
At least they were
at
meant
least, right.
One of my friends' parents, how they met is his dad was best friends with the guy that his mom was dating. And so they were dating for a couple years, and then the dad swooped in, and now they've been married for like 40 years.
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But they're very happy together.
And
but
then it's
they
like-
don't talk to that guy anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough because it's like, that's a true love 40-year marriage. It
I
sounds
know.
like, and it's like, do
They didn't
they
have a chance.
What? Yeah.
One of my boyfriend's like family members, there was two married couples. They were like next door neighbors, and two of them were having an affair. And then the other two actually ended up together. The other husband and wife ended up together, and now
We
they're
have so
all
much in
just
common. We've
married.
both been
And
cheated on.
yeah, isn't that crazy?
The little wife swap. Wait,
Yeah, they
did
did a
the
wife
affair
swap.
people?
Yeah, I think
together
they're
too?
still together too. Yeah.
They all got together.
Yeah. And
Hey.
his family member was the one that got cheated on and then ended up with the other woman.
I mean, if it's gonna happen, I feel like that's like the best
I know,
way
it's
for it
kind
to
of meant to
happen, if
be.
anything.
Trauma bonding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yoinks. Real quick question
Yoinks.
for everyone watching and both of you. Where would you have cut it off if like you were OP in this scenario? Like when would have you called it quits?
I guess. I mean, the Tiffany's necklace is very
Yeah.
questionable.
Yeah.
What do you think is worse? A watch of a little bit more value, so like let's say like a $2,000 watch,
Yeah.
or $1,000 Tiffany's
necklace.
Tiffany's.
Yeah, I would say
Tiffany's.
Tiffany's. I still would be
Tiffany's.
like, why are you dropping $2,000 on her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, there is something about a watch that's like just not as romantic.
It is more platonic.
Agreed.
Yeah, but I still would kind of be like, okay, this is like a lot of money. Like, what the you get me? What are you gonna get me for my birthday?
Yeah.
It better be twice that amount.
100 at least
10 times.
At least.
But I mean, I guess if I were her, I maybe probably would have acted the same way she did, of just like trying to figure
Right.
it out
Giving
and
him a
like
chance.
level with him. And
Do we know how long
Yeah.
they were in a relationship?
11 months.
Okay.
oh,
But 11 months from that point.
Yeah.
Basically a year
Yeah.
by the end.
Right.
Basically a year by the end.
oh, okay.
I believe.
Relatively new-ish
Yeah, that is.
relationship.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like he got caught in with her. He doesn't really care about her. This
Yeah.
is his best friend. Like, you're going to say that, you're kind of supposed to marry your best friend.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. They might actually work out. I hate to say it.
I think so too.
So much
Oh.
history. They help
Right.
they're in the same grad
Degree.
school.
Yeah.
What if they go into the same career if they're in the same program?
Yeah, they work
Right.
together. They start a
Right.
business together.
It's
We're
all
rooting for them now. We
Yeah.
love them.
They kind of sound perfect. He showers her with gifts and roses. He's
Yeah, I
thoughtful.
think it is a little bit of a red flag though when they have like a platonic opposite sex best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, unless
Like best friend.
Best
unless
friend.
you
Best
like,
friend.
I guess, grew up together, and I guess there definitely is a way to be like have a brother and sister relationship, like if your families are really close. But I don't know. I definitely can see that it can work, but I think you just got to use your intuition
Yeah.
about the relationship. Like clearly she's been flagging it from the start.
Well, I think you're nailing it though. It's common interest. If like family friend, that's a commonality, or if it's like, comedy or whatever, podcasting, it's like, yeah, you've got a reason to be hanging out with them. But when you don't, it is a little sus.
But I guess they did because they were like in grad school together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Like,
I'm excited for their future.
congratulations, you guys.
I can hear the
X.
wedding bells, but you know what else I can hear?
What can you hear?
The bells of this new story.
Let's go, baby.
Am I the a-hole for breaking up with my fiance for not bringing me lunch?
Oh, God.
Nope. Dump him.
Dump him.
Give me lunch.
I need to be fed.
I
he
need
was,
to be-
He was just hangry.
That's right.
He was hangry.
It's
what do you
okay if
expect?
you-
He's obviously going to break up with you when you're hangry.
You can do that, right? You can break off an engagement just because you're hangry.
Yeah, and so yeah, eat a Snickers.
Eat a Snickers. There we go.
So this comes from Empty World 1945, and the original post is December 15th, 2023.
Oh.
So I, 25 female, and my fiance, Mark, 26 male, have been together 2 years. Me and Mark met through mutual friends and went to the same high school together, but didn't start dating till years after we graduated. He's currently in the military and is stationed in another state, but kept our relationship strong through the long distance and, of course, when he comes home for vacation, breaks, and holidays. So it sounds like they've known each other for a while. They got those common interests.
Oh, we don't know anything about that.
We also have a dog named Willie that we got together, but of course stays with me and sees Mark when he's home. When he's home, he stays at my place and spends time at his family's while I'm at work. Since he flies home, he leaves his personal vehicle at base and sometimes uses my car. I imagine all these details will be important soon.
Hopefully.
But we're getting a lot of details.
I like learning about their lifestyle.
Yeah. It sounds really cute and domestic. So he also picks me up for my lunch break and we eat together. He doesn't miss a lunch day, ever.
Wow.
He got home 5 days ago and I returned back to work. Mark dropped me off so he could use my car for errands and to re-up on Willie's food since we just ran out during his morning feed. When he picked me up at the end of my shift, I asked Mark if he bought the big or small bag of Willie's food. He paused and mentioned he forgot to buy the food. Mind you, I work a 10-hour shift and fed Willie the minute I got up to get ready for work, which is 12 hours ago. I asked Mark what he had been doing while I was at work, and he just said he was out spending time with his brothers. Do we believe him?
He never misses lunch.
He never misses lunch.
Yeah, he seems like a pretty reliable guy.
Half truth, he was spending time with his brothers at the strip club.
Yep.
There you go. There it is.
That's it. Babe, I told you the truth.
I swear, I was just there for the hot wing.
Yes. It's delicious. They're renowned.
I'm a very understanding and patient person. I was mad that Willie had gone so long without eating, but gave him the benefit of the doubt since he hasn't seen his family in months. I let it go. So she's like, hey, I know, our dog is starving, but since you're back for a little bit, it's okay that you forgot.
I think Opie's man is thinking about a whole different Willie right now.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
That he is.
That's what I'm
with his
thinking.
little head. A couple days later, Mark mentioned he was going Christmas shopping with his brothers and wouldn't be able to take me to lunch since he was going before their shifts. My brother-in-laws are 20 and 22 and haven't saved up for their own cars, so he had to use mine. We had a surprise meeting that day, which extended my lunch to a later time that Mark would be free for. I called Mark and told him of my new lunch hour and asked if he could bring me a plate of food. Mark weirdly hesitated and said he had to go feed Willie first since it was time for his second feeding. We're flip-flopping here.
Now you're so concerned about feeding Willie.
I suggested to feed Willie after he dropped off some lunch for me since my break was only for 1 hour and wouldn't have enough time to eat if he went back home first. Mark heavily insisted on feeding Willie first because he didn't want to upset me the way he did when he forgot to feed him a couple of days ago.
Fair.
No, not fair. What?
Yeah.
It's like
Because
classic
she's upsetting her
manipulation.
now,
The
right?
dog
Wait,
eats
what?
before you.
Yeah.
Dogs eat first.
I don't want to upset you, even though I'm not doing what you want me to do.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Okay.
Yeah. So OP, I think, feels how we all feel right now. I felt off. I love Willie very much, but I told him Willie was not going to starve from 5 hours of not eating. Mark suggested I just wait till the end of my shift to go eat after work. I was dumbfounded that Mark was being heavily hesitant on bringing me food, especially since he's in my car and I haven't eaten since last night because I'm not much of a breakfast person. So basically, like, he has her car, so she can't go and drive to get food.
Oh, okay.
She was depending on him for food. I guess she didn't pack anything going in, so
He never misses lunch.
Yeah,
that's
never
his
misses
thing.
lunch.
Like,
What happened?
he was so reliable until now.
Interesting. Okay.
But what could be more important than buying a plate of food for your starving partner?
Oh, starving.
That part.
Starving. I feel like we're using a little bit of hyperbole right here. I don't know.
I'm
if you're-
starving, my love.
Starving, but very hungry at the very least. I mean, it's hard to function and work on an
and
empty stomach.
wait, what is she, a nurse? Is that what I heard? No.
It feels like the 10-hour shift gave me. Oh, but she said a meeting though. Do nurses have meetings?
Nurses probably have meetings. I mean, we know he is in the military.
Military, right? Oh, I don't know why I thought I was thinking of nurse.
Anything on her. I don't know if we know her position.
Okay.
I thought nurse too though.
I got upset and asked Mark what's really going on because he's never missed a lunch date with me.
Never.
Mark got loud and said, I'm tripping, and hung up on me.
What?
I called him back and all calls were rejected. He texted me saying he was going home and we could talk after work because he was tired from shopping. For petty reasons, I had a bag of chips in my desk that I refused to eat so he could hear my stomach growl when he picked me up later.
Okay.
Nice.
I won't say anything. My stomach will do the talking and be yelling at you. I see him pull up to the front of my office building and I calmly get into the car. The second we got home, I tell him it's over and ask to pack his things and leave. He calls me a crybaby and effing dramatic and will regret breaking up with me. Is he right? Or am I just being extra for ending the relationship? And again, they've been together 2 years.
Okay.
They're engaged. There are some relevant comments and an update. But I want to know from y'all, is OP overreacting right now, or is she justified?
I feel like I'm missing something, but I feel like she's overreacting.
Yeah.
I feel like we just did one like this. I can't remember what it was now, but yeah, it was the same thing where it's like you're breaking up with a guy
over that.
Almost nothing. I mean,
it was about the party and the dog. The dog was dying.
Oh yeah, he didn't answer her call. Basically, he was at a party. It was this other one.
It's like I'm not coming home. Whatever. But it just seemed so like dramatic, and that there was like underlying issues of why you're breaking up, because you're going to break up over this.
Yeah.
And I also just feel like
Pack a lunch.
You can't fucking figure out your own lunch plans. Like, why does he have to be there at every lunch? I'm confused. He's home from the military and he has the time off. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think it's about spending time together, because maybe they don't get to spend a lot of time because he's always militarying about.
As they do. As they do. But it doesn't feel like a time spent thing, though. It actually feels like I'm just trying to get sustenance. Like the reason she's most mad is because she's quote unquote starving.
Too, there's like a thing when people are very consistent and then they get off that consistency. Like, to me, that usually is an indicator like something deeper is happening.
Yeah.
This is their ritual. It's what they do. I mean, I agree with you. It doesn't need to be like so regimented necessarily, but that is what it is. I mean, he's a military guy.
And he should have said to her, like, oh, I can't make lunch today, so figure out your plans.
Exactly.
And now I have your
he
car.
misses 2 lunches, and then it's like,
Like,
I feel like it deserves a further talk at least. Like,
of course.
What is the golden rule? 3 strikes
and you're out.
That's
You're out
true.
of here.
This is only 2.
No, we're calling it early.
Calling
Okay?
it on 2. But there are some relevant comments. So Healer Heel says, so he's probably effing around for one, which I'm sorry to hear, but he had told you the day/evening before that he couldn't make the lunch date.
Oh.
So why didn't you bring food from home?
Oh.
And this wasn't an issue for you until your break got changed. If it hadn't, what would you have eaten anyway if you didn't bring anything? What the F, lady?
That's what I'm saying.
And then OP said, I had money to DoorDash. I just needed to know what was so important to not bring a plate of food for your partner. And the mall does not take a whole lot. He was already done with the mall to begin with, which is why I asked. And then Bodacious Justice says, not being dramatic, he's being super shady. I don't believe he was really hanging out with his brothers these 2 days. He had other plans. I don't know. I feel like we're getting into like a little conspiracy.
Hit it. What do you think?
I mean, I think there is a high chance that he is like hooking up, but I don't know if we have enough information to actually justify that. I don't know. What do you think?
I guess I'm not ready to jump to hooking up because it seems so abrupt, but it's like he's doing something.
He's doing something.
Yeah. You know?
There's some sketchiness possibly with him going outside of his routine.
Maybe he just wants his own time. Yeah. Like, why is he having to be the one?
Unacceptable.
I'm
going to live and breathe
your
for me.
Family.
Yeah, it feels just so like, I don't want to say this word because it's like, I don't know, but he's seeming a little whipped.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if that's okay to say, but
I think it just seems like we're jumping the gun a little bit too fast.
Yeah, like
generally.
It's not like he's totally innocent or there's nothing to suspect, but the punishment does not fit the crime here.
I don't think so. I mean, I understand her getting annoyed that he is then like calling her all these like names and getting frustrated with her. Like, but it's like, have a conversation.
Yeah,
don't just be like, we're done.
Yeah.
Here's your ring.
I wonder if she's done that before. Like,
Probably.
called off the relationship and is like, I'm just playing with you. Bring me my lunch.
Over.
Oh, she could be one
Keep
of
you on your
those.
toes.
I'm hoping he's up to something, but it's not cheating. I want him to be like,
he's I've been shopping for
a Tiffany's necklace
Tiffany's
for
necklace,
you.
yeah.
There it is.
I can't stop bowling, like anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's part of the league finals. I got a bowl.
I'm addicted.
Well, let's
That
get
would be
back
so
to
great.
reality and see what really happened.
All righty.
So OP responds, I asked after he was done hanging with his brothers at the mall. I would not have asked him to bail on his brothers in the middle of his plans. I also got super upset because he hung up right in the middle of our call and didn't answer any further phone calls or texts. He also never went to go feed Willie. We don't share locations, so I don't know where he was all this time. So he's up to something.
Okay, so he said he was feeding the dog and then he
he
didn't.
wasn't.
That's pretty messed up. To be on your dog. Now it's kind of like you better be cheating.
Well, actually, I was just asking this because I was watching my parents' dog last week, and I was asking my mom, I was like, why don't dogs eat lunch? They only have breakfast and they only have dinner. I'm like, why don't they get
My
lunch,
dog only
these
eats
guys?
once a day.
Once a day?
Yeah,
Your dog's intermittent fasting though.
That's true. He's
Keto
working on his
dog.
figure.
Keto dog. I remember my old dog, rest in peace, Paco.
R.I.P.
He got
Paco.
so fat by us feeding him twice a day, and the doctor was like, "You have to feed him only 1 cup in the morning because he just gets fat. It's just
oh my
what
God,
he does."
1 cup?
How big was Paco?
Bro, he's like this big. He's a Chihuahua
he's
mix.
tiny.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's like bigger than he was mixed with some other dog. But like he's a
He was
mutt.
wider than he was long.
Yeah, but yeah, he got freaking fat, dude. So we had to just like, it's like, please, feed. Dude, you get so excited. He's like, oh,
He was probably starving.
He was.
Bro, you got to burn off those pounds. But we do have an update 3 days later. So to answer some repeating questions, all gifts were bought and given to my mother-in-law since she loves to wrap, and Mark is super bad at keeping gifts a secret. Even if extra gifts were being bought as a surprise, no gift would be okay to leave me with anxiety and overthinking for the remaining 6 hours of my shift. What is that even like? No gift would be okay to leave me. Oh, like leave her
it wasn't
thinking, like,
worth
where
it.
are you?
Yeah.
Right. I also did not mention that I also had a feeling that he was probably cheating, since I wanted actually to think and have a POV of everyone that read through this. So she wanted the internet's thoughts first.
Okay.
I wanted to see if everyone's gut feeling / intuition was the same as mine without my influence. I also mentioned the part of me being petty to not paint myself as a saint. Some people say I'm assuming to be, and show my raw emotion and irrational thinking coming from a place of hurt and anger. Now, the update.
Okay.
Here we go.
Mark packed his stuff and left.
What?
The next morning, I noticed he left an old college jacket that belonged to his stepdad and meant a lot to him, with a deep meaning behind it. I could have been petty and thrown it away, but decided to text Mark
Okay,
and maybe even talk it out after a night of being away and letting things calm down. I texted Mark, "Hey, you left some clothes behind." In his response, "Wow, already crawling back. Throw it away. I don't want that.
Throw it away.
Throw it away. I don't care about my
This
stepdad."
whole couple sucks.
He really reached for that crawling
Yeah.
back.
Yeah,
too. It's just like,
I think he
God,
intentionally
so
left it
man.
just so he could say that.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally.
It's like the classic move of like leaving like an article of clothing behind. It's like, "Oh, I left my hoodie over there. Can I come pick it up?"
And she knows how important it is. He's probably told her in the past, like, "Oh yeah, my stepdad gave me this old beauty."
But then he's telling her to just throw it out.
They're both petty as
Cruel.
hell.
I left him on red, petty too, and decided to text his mother if I could stop by and drop off the said jacket. Actually, that's pretty thoughtful. She said, of course, and told me to come by and also pick up the gifts I'm assuming I wanted back. I came over and was immediately greeted by his mother and stepdad, which hugged me and asked if I was okay and needed to talk. I immediately broke down. I explained the situation and basically told the same story as I told on here. His mother was pissed and decided to call Mark and ask for his side of the story, but did not mention I was there to listen in on the call,
Wow.
which I think is kind of whack.
I feel like that's the middle school 3-way move, you know?
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
call your friend. What do you think about Joey?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like
I
that
hate
one
him.
scene in Mean Girls.
I mean, girls, I was
Yeah.
gonna say
Dude.
that.
Wow. I also, like, I feel like the parent, like, shouldn't the parents be like, "Wait, why did you like leave my son over missing lunch twice?" Like,
Yeah, why are they instantly
Yes.
taking her side, you know?
yeah.
Like, come on. Like listen to
Very
both sides first
strange.
before you like 3-way sabotage your son, which is a
Yeah.
weird sentence to say in relationship to
Oh
parenthood.
God.
But
There is a stepdad.
yeah, there is a stepdad. It is true. Mark answered by saying that I called him at the time he was with Nick and Devin, his brothers, and told me that he couldn't leave them at the mall since he was the only one with transportation, and immediately blew up on them for picking his brothers over me. I yelled, "That's not true!" out of frustration and showed my mother-in-law the call history, which checked out at the time that both brothers were already clocked in for their shifts, which mother and father-in-law confirmed to be their shifts. One brother-in-law also showed a picture of him and some coworkers around the same time. I asked him to bring me to lunch. Mark hung up the call, so he was kind of caught in a lie.
Yeah. Wow.
The in-laws texted Mark and sided with me. I thanked them for the memories and love and left my engagement ring with them. Mark repeatedly called and has sent text messages begging to talk. After an hour, I finally answered and told him to tell me the truth of this, or this would be the last and final time we spoke. Mark admitted to seeing another woman.
No.
There you go.
An ex, to be exact.
Oh, even worse.
Wait, really?
Ooh, I hadn't thought of an ex. That makes
hung
more
up
sense.
and haven't answered since, which super sus. I mean, they probably were like hooking up or something.
Yeah.
I know it says that this all happened today, but actually took place 2 days ago. I typed it out and left it as a draft since I cried myself to sleep, and I've been trying to keep it together. Update on Willie. Willie stays at doggy daycare while I'm at work. We both decided to leave Willie home while he was in town to save money.
I feel like the ex was like, but don't bring back that f***ing jacket.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it.
Don't want to see it ever. Reminds me of my stepdad who actually has good morals and supports people who deserve to be supported. Well, I guess OP was kind of vindicated at the end.
Wow, I
you
know. I really, sorry, I was not on her side,
Yeah.
but interesting.
We were jumping, but I feel like we were jumping to a like logical conclusion. Like we were missing a few steps, but you read enough of these stories and you realize everyone's cheating on each other.
Maybe OP just even though she didn't like vocalize it and see it consciously at the time, she was like, I feel like he's cheating on me, and that's the real reason. Like not that he missed the 2 lunches, which
right. She had intuition.
Intuition.
And she was feeling it.
Yeah.
She went with
A man
it.
respects lunch. And when a man conveys he respects lunch, and then there's a disrespect toward lunch,
He's cheating.
He's cheating.
Yeah. If he's not eating, he's cheating.
there we
You heard
go.
it here,
That's the line,
folks.
baby. Here we go. But shall we go into a final
Final story
of this episode?
Let's hit it.
Let's do it.
Oh, on OKOP show? Does this come from our very own subreddit, r/OKOP show?
It does. And if you want to send in your stories and have us read it, go to r/OKOP show on Reddit. Would I be the a-hole for telling my sister her boyfriend cheated on her with me?
Oh, yes.
That's tough.
I mean, yes, you're the
I would
a-hole.
say, well, you are the a-hole,
Yeah.
but you should tell her.
You should tell her. That makes you less of an a-hole, if anything.
Like maybe it's like canceled. And it's not canceled out, but you're a little bit less. Telling the truth is less
come
a-hole.
clean.
It also makes the 69 in the
So much
title
better.
so much crazier.
It's my
That's how
favorite
we cheated
position.
on you.
Yeah. Come on, Alyssa, you're part of the OK fam. What are you doing?
She's getting at it. That's what she's doing.
For real.
Okay, fam can get it.
Apparently, they're too beautiful. I, 19 male, have a sister, Lila, 24 female. I don't talk to my family much, mostly because we aren't on good terms and I live in another
Since I
state.
hooked up with my family's significant other.
Exactly. So basically, I was at a gay club with some of my friends and a guy approached me. He was a bit older than me, probably in his late 20s or early 30s. We started chatting and we ended up in a hotel room at the end of the night, and then we never saw each other again. That was 3 months ago.
Okay.
Now I was invited to a family dinner for my grandma's birthday, and I arrived early to be able to catch up with a few cousins before the dinner. And guess who came a few minutes later? My grandma.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. The guy from before.
And they went to a hotel
Plot
room to
twist.
hook up, correct? Like not play like Scrabble or something.
No, they were doing it. Lila and the guy I hooked up with. He stared at me, and God believe me when I tell you that crap was awkward. My sister introduced him to me as her boyfriend of 8 months, mind you, which meant the jerk cheated on her with me.
Okay, interesting.
Well, at least
so
you
she
know
didn't know.
he's a type, you know?
Oh, true.
Oh, she didn't know because she
didn't
just found out in that
know.
moment.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, I think that's
exactly.
very
That is
exculpating.
fair.
right?
Yeah.
I tried to stay away from them throughout the dinner, but eventually he pulled me aside. Well, now he's finally pulling something out. When my sister went to the kitchen, he begged me not to tell Lila about what happened. And when I asked him why I shouldn't,
He said you would be an a-hole for breaking her heart.
Oh, yeah. She.
Come on. That's you, buddy.
Yeah. And now I don't think OP's the a-hole anymore.
Yes,
Yeah.
OP is not the a-hole.
OP's not the a-hole.
You've been vindicated.
You're just suave as
That's right. Yeah, you're just too good looking.
too good looking.
And I told him that that was his problem and that he shouldn't have cheated. He tried to explain that because he lives in another state and away from Lila, that he didn't have his needs met or some other BS like that.
Oh, shut
That's such bullshit. You're just a bad relationship partner.
Come
Well,
on.
I guess if you live in a different state.
Yeah, different rules, different
It
states,
doesn't
guys.
count if you cross state boundaries.
I told him that I'll still tell her, and he tried to threaten me, but I just left the dinner early.
Good.
Now he's texting me saying that I am the a-hole for sleeping with a taken man. And,
Oh my God.
What? And it gets even better. If I told my sister, I would be just as much of a jerk as him.
Untrue.
Lies.
Untrue.
Wow.
I'm honestly really conflicted. I want to tell my sister, but I don't want her to think I purposely slept with her boyfriend. So would I be the a-hole? Edit for some clarification. I'm a guy, the people who miss the M in the 19M.
Oh.
Met at a gay club.
Yes, met at a gay
Oh.
Oh
club.
my God,
the
I
gay
totally
club.
missed that.
Yes. And yes, it was
Well,
19.
that changes everything.
Yeah, he wasn't getting his needs met by a woman.
He
Come
needed to
on.
switch it up. Only a guy knows how to please me, baby. And I don't know where he got my number from, but he might have gotten it from his girlfriend, my sister, who has my number, of course, because
Thanks
I'm
for
her
the
brother.
clarification.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm her brother.
Oh, and yes, I am 100% gay. If you couldn't tell by the fact that I was at a gay club and hooked up with a man.
Yeah.
Well, wait, he's not gay. I mean,
I love
I
it.
guess
Yeah, this edit is making everything very crystal
Yeah,
clear.
exactly, right? Hope this helps for the people who lack any critical thinking skills. Smiley face, mini exclamation
Thank
emojis.
I like how they hit 100% gay, though. It's really
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah,
love it.
100%.
If you were 80% gay, I'd have a very different
we'd
opinion.
have to sit down and have a talk. By the way, to clarify, this OP actually isn't in the OK fam. This was a cross post into.
Okay.
This is
Gotcha.
a story that needed to be shared.
But yeah, what do you
I was
think?
gonna say, you guys got some crazy listeners.
We do.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have some wild people.
Well,
But
actually, I was listening to one of your call-ins today, and yeah, they've got some wild
They got some
stories.
juice.
they got some juice.
But what do you think? Would OP be the a-hole in telling his sister?
Not at all. She deserves to know, and I would hope that she would understand that her brother wasn't trying to do her dirty like that.
Yeah.
Like, unless there was ever any history of them having a bad relationship or some kind of a similar situation, or even just doing each other dirty, and not in this way, but then I would think that she would be totally understanding.
Yeah, but it is a hard thing to hear. Just
Oh,
generally.
oh my
Like, I could
God,
see
yeah.
her not necessarily like wanting to be mad at him, but
Yeah.
kind of being like upset by the fact that this happened.
Oh yeah.
Even if I do think OP is like somewhat blameless.
It could be nuclear, too, if she doesn't even know that he's bi, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Must be
Yes.
bi. So then
Yeah.
I could see that really spinning. And obviously, this guy's not above just blatant manipulation. So he would
Straight
just
up.
be like,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
he's gay and he pursued me. You know, like I could see him
I was just
spinning.
doing
this.
No.
I can see it being, but I think if she then found out later,
Oh, yeah,
you
it's
would be
better to
even
find out now.
more of an, because it would be like, okay, so you didn't tell me.
Yeah.
So then that means that there might have been something weird going on, that you actually were pursuing him, because why the fuck wouldn't you tell me immediately when you found out? And you let me date this for another year?
Yeah, major red flag.
True.
They need
Yeah.
to end that relationship. That's what a good brother would do.
Absolutely.
Me, 25 female with my boyfriend, 23 male, 3 years. He can't accept that I'm vegetarian, and I think he's trying to trick me into eating meat. Riley, is this pointed? Are you tricking me into eating meat?
It just coincidentally.
That's
was
so
related,
Coincidental,
but-
coincidentally.
I can't. You know what?
Coincidentally.
There it is. That's all I got.
That's it. That's for you.
But yeah, maybe it might be a hint, but it might not.
Sophia is a pescatarian.
I'm being poisoned. But let's find out what veggie girlfriend says.
Veggie girlfriend, is that the username? That's so great.
Me and my boyfriend have been together for 3 years and have lived together for 1 year. I've been a vegetarian since I was 11 years old through my own choice. No one else in my family is veggie. My boyfriend eats meat. Although my dream ideal partner probably would be a vegetarian, I view this as a Dan Savage price of admission for an otherwise great guy. Who's Dan Savage?
I don't know. I've heard that name before.
I don't know. I also have heard the name. I just don't know who it is. Usually we cook veggie meals and he adds meat to them. If he wants a meal where that doesn't work, we just cook our own things and eat them together. The cooking works out to about 50-50 and so does the cleaning. So I don't think the problem is with that. He eats meat most days. I have no problem with meat in the flat. I won't cook it, that's all. Because it grosses me out. Meat pizzas and stuff like that I don't mind, but nothing that involves really touching the meat.
Wait, so does she doesn't eat meat?
She doesn't eat meat.
She just doesn't want it to touch. Okay.
She doesn't want to cook it. But also I understand. I won't cook meat because why would I cook something I'm not going to eat?
Facts.
You know?
Yep. I know this all too well.
I'm just saying, there's no point. Recently, he's been really obsessed with my vegetarianism in a way he had never been before. He's always made stupid jokes, but that's a better reaction than a lot of people. He's proper grilled me. Oh, he's proper grilled me about it.
Proper grilled me. Is this is a UK person?
I
Yeah.
must be.
Yeah.
He's proper grilled me about it. About it around 4 times in the past fortnight.
Proper grilled me.
He's proper grilled me about
I guess like
around
British
4
people use
times in the
fortnight.
past fortnight. I don't think that's true. Anyone who's been veggie knows. Yeah, actually, it must be because veg. Yeah, veggie. Anyone who's been veggie knows how annoying these constant conversations are. He started genuinely saying that it's stupid, unhealthy, hipster, all that stuff. I've shown him the studies saying vegetarians usually live longer, that a veggie and even vegan diet is accepted unanimously. It can be.
Oh, cool.
Accepted unanimously by dietitians as just as healthy as a meat one. He just doesn't accept it. He has a far worse diet than I do. I don't snack, don't eat fast food, don't have sugary drinks, and he does all the time. We're both slim, however. He's been asking if I've ever quit a lot too.
Ever what?
If I'd ever quit a lot.
Oh, quit.
Like quit being
vegetarian?
Yeah.
That's a weird way to say it. Quit a lot.
If I'd ever quit a lot too. I'd like to point out that I never bring my vegetarianism up in conversation because usually people just try to lecture you. Whenever we talk about it, he brings it up. Now, there's been a handful of times in the past few weeks when he'll cook a meal for us and I'll notice that it's not vegetarian. Some examples, he's made a spag bowl.
A spag bowl?
Yeah. This is so...
Spaghetti bowl?
Yeah, this is so...
Spag bowl.
Yeah. He's made a spag bowl.
A spag bowl.
Corn?
A what?
Corn? Quorn.
Corn?
Corn? Is that like fake meat?
I don't know.
It might be fake meat, but
you.
like a specific brand.
On the research.
John is okay. He's with his girlfriend celebrating her birthday.
Yeah. That's why he wasn't there on the stream, and that's why he's not here today.
Yeah.
When it just obviously wasn't. They don't look the same.
Okay, corn is a brand of meat substitute.
Yeah, which I figured. When I pointed this out, he just laughed and said it was a brain fart, and he forgot. Which, okay, whatever. I guess that could happen. No, that's weird. That if you're living together, he didn't forget.
If you're
living together and he makes food with meat in it.
I mean, he's definitely not. He's making food with meat for her.
For her, yes.
He's not forgetting.
No, he's not
trying to convert her right now.
Yeah, she's been vegetarian for 8 years. But also, before I go on, like having meat introduced back into your diet, if you haven't had it for years, it really hurts your stomach.
Yeah. Because
Like,
your
really
stomach forgets how to break down the...
No, it can be really harmful. Like I don't usually have too bad. If like someone accidentally gives me like small amounts of meat, it won't too harshly affect me. But like I have friends who've been like vegetarian for years and years, and if they have a little bit, like they just feel horrible.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No, it's like if you like it's like being dairy intolerant. Like if you don't have you know,
that's why I drink
or
a gallon of milk a week.
You're lactose intolerant though.
Well, not if I drink a gallon of milk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of, but if I drink a gallon of milk, I'm fine.
McFizzy says, my best friend is vegan, and when we hang out, I make sure to get snacks that are vegan, or if we go out to eat, I check the menu and make sure she can eat before suggesting we try a new place.
That is
just
amazing,
etiquette.
friend.
Like if that's your friend or your partner, I've just like they're not forced. Like I personally, as like a pescatarian, I'm not forcing other people to eat my way unless I'm making food for them. Unless I'm specifically making food for them. But like don't like try to insert, you know,
meat
meat into my diet. Please.
Please don't insert meat into me.
This is an okay story time, actually.
Okay, we'll save it to the end.
He gave me a sandwich with ham on it. Another mistake, apparently, since he was making us both them and just put the ham on both, despite this never having been a problem before. He's so doing this in prison.
Yeah.
He made himself a bacon butty. I don't.
What's a bacon buddy?
This is so British. And asked if I wanted an egg one. I said yes, and when I walk into the kitchen, he's using the same pan that he used for bacon.
Oh.
I don't. Yeah. This
I
is
feel
my
like
pet peeve too.
I feel like that. I
also don't like that.
No,
you get bacon grease.
It's definitely like a poor move and not thoughtful. But I could almost see him like being forgetful of the bacon grease.
If that was the first step, but yeah.
Giving her a ham sandwich, I feel like is like like another level. Like like I didn't clean the bacon grease off. Like I forgot. But like, how do you forget giving someone a ham sandwich?
No, this is just like yikes.
AJ says he's doing it on purpose. Maynard the Tool says, yeah, not a good boyfriend. If dietary differences matter that much, don't date someone on a different diet than you. Yeah. But it's also, not that it's like that it's different dietary stuff. It's that he's actively trying to turn her to the dark side.
Like, we've already established that they make their own meals if he wants meat. Like it's not like he's getting less meat than he wants. Yeah. It's just that he's insistent that her diet is bad for her, which it's also proven that like it's like many cultures are like have a lot of vegetarian and like vegan meals.
Yeah.
Like
you can be very healthy and be vegetarian. And
like there
vegan.
Was this specific video.
But
like
you can also be very unhealthy.
Yeah.
Being
no, it's literally
same
how you
as
make
with
it.
like meat eaters as well.
No, a lot of cultures have like vegetarian roots and they're very healthy.
When I was in Bali, I went to this like small little vegan cafe and there was this old man sitting at a bench and had this like giant beard and was working at a laptop and he had these like giant beads. I'm like, I'm going to talk to that old man. Sure. And we started talking about veganism and stuff. And he called people who ate meat cowheads. And I love that. He's like, the cowheads just don't understand. Yeah.
That's funny. He said he didn't know this was a problem. This is the bacon grease. This was a problem when he 100% did because he's always swapped pans before this. And it's not about the washing up because when he cooks, I wash up and the other way around. He made chicken enchiladas and told me they were veggie. Luckily, I saw the chicken when I cut in half.
That is whack.
This is crazy.
That is so whack.
No, break up with him.
Yeah. At this point, he's just lying.
He's just lying to you.
He's lying to you.
Yeah, no.
Go yourself.
Same excuses.
Sorry, that was rude. But I stand by it. Go yourself. Yeah. What are you doing?
No, absolutely.
Dude, this is like the worst. He's like the worst. He's the worst.
And he gives
free feed
OP
pics.
the same excuses, an honest mistake. I thus far haven't accidentally eaten any meat. I've been cooking for myself for the past week, but he keeps offering to cook for both of us. Am I just being paranoid? No. The idea of him sneaking meat into my food seems crazy, but it really seems like he is.
He is.
He is.
He is.
Why would he even bother to do that?
Because he's a bad boyfriend.
Yeah. Boyfriend has become aggressive towards my vegetarianism, and I think he's trying to sneak meat into my food.
DK Australia, I think, is saying we should do a breakup chant.
Break up.
I see. I always do it one more time too much.
I think it's a 3 chant.
It's a 3 chant?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, what are the grounds on why she should break up? If we're giving advice to this lady, why?
He is lying to her. And also, even if this was a mistake, this shows a lack of
care.
Interest in your partner and care in your partner. And that's also a red flag. Even if he was forgetting, that's still a red flag.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think but the thing is, I don't think he's forgetting.
I think this is malicious.
Yeah, even if he was forgetting, you should break up. But I think it is insidious.
Yes.
It's malicious, and he's trying to he's totally disrespecting her boundaries.
Absolutely, 100%.
Also,
and this is like an 8-year vegetarian. Like this is since she was 11.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, exactly. It's not like I'm just like trying this out. Like she's been dedicated to this, and this is a cross of boundaries.
Yeah.
I have an okay story time about boundaries and a sex party.
No.
What?
No, it doesn't have it's not related to vegetarianism.
It's related to boundaries. It's really good. I think it's important. It's a good one. You're just shutting me down. It's good.
No.
It's about a friend that I'm gonna.
Okay, I got to tell my okay story time first. Yeah. Relevant comments though. Deleted says, I think you're using the word sneak incorrectly. This douche knows full well what he's doing, and you should probably have some serious second thoughts about him and his actions. Mistake my OP says, I'm glad people are agreeing with me. I didn't think it could be in any way a mistake either, but he insists that they are. Won't change his story at all. Deleted says, have you talked to him about the fact that he's being incredibly disrespectful towards you and your moral choices? Yeah. Obi says, I question him after every incident. I've asked him separately as well. I was like, you've been making a lot of these mistakes. Want to talk about my vegetarianism? Are you confused about it? Resentful? He insisted and insisted that every single time was a mistake and then huffed off to bed. Top comment from Cat Romance says, it does sound like he's setting you up for did you like what I made for dinner? Ha, it had meat in it, sucker situation.
That is totally what he's doing.
Yikes. There are no honest mistakes. You two have lived/eaten together for quite some time now, and to suddenly be making mistakes like this is ridiculous. He's definitely trying to get you to eat meat. I think you need to have a serious talk with him. Tell him that you know he's trying to sneak you meat. There's way too many coincidences for these to be accidents anymore. Tell him that if you ever suspect or discover that he has fed you meat, you will break up with him on the spot. At least tell him that if that's how you feel.
She should break up with him already.
She should. For me, it would be a total breach of trust. Ask him what his deal is with you being a vegetarian. Is a friend giving him shit? Did he read something that made him worried? Is he concerned about what you two will feed future children? There's something that's got the fire going under his feet, and you need to figure out what it is. And there is an update.
Do you want to tell your okay story time?
Right now?
Before the update?
Sure.
Yeah.
So a family member, this was a couple years ago. So I had been vegetarian for, I want to say like 4 years by that time. And I was in the car with a family member, and I didn't even bring this up. They were like, oh, like, what do you want for dinner tonight? Well, I had to bring it up. But so they were like, what do you want for dinner tonight? Like, we were thinking about like chicken. And I was like, sorry, I don't eat meat. And he was like, oh, are you vegetarian? I was like, no, I'm pescatarian. And then he went on to this whole tirade about like, how vegetarian is like ruining your health. And he was like, actually, did you know that?
And it's ruining America.
Yeah. He was like, did you know that more animals die from vegetarians than people who eat meat? And I was like,
what does that mean?
Literally, I was explaining that to me. And he was like, well, the vegetable, like places, the farms where they grow vegetables, they have to shoot animals to keep them off of the farm. And I was like, you're telling me that shooting animals to keep them off the farm kills more animals than the meat industry. 20 billion
chickens that are killed. Was it 20 billion chickens every
day? They like give them steroids. It's crazy.
There's a lot
the meat
of
industry is crazy,
eaten.
but like I wasn't even saying like, I wasn't like being like, oh, you don't eat meat. I literally was just like, hey, I don't eat meat, so if we could get like some fish and chips or something. And he just went on to this whole thing, and I was like, okay, thank you.
200 million.
200 million chickens every day?
Every day.
It's wild.
Damn, that's a lot of chickens.
Yeah, so that's my story time about, and then I also had another family member tell me that it was a phase. I was like, okay.
And you're like, it's not a phase.
It's not a phase. Yeah, it hasn't been.
Okay, shall we get into this update?
Yes. Update. So after posting, I stuck to only eating food I'd made, and my boyfriend got more and more antsy about cooking for me. I sat him down the next day and asked him the same stuff. If he had a problem with my vegetarianism, why he was trying to contaminate my food, since I asked why and not if, he blew up. Demanding to know why I didn't trust him, how I could accuse him of this. He also kept trying to get me to explain why I'm veggie in the first place, but he knows this well, so I didn't let him derail the conversation. Eventually, after the most frustrating circular argument ever, he stormed off to our bedroom. We didn't speak that night or the morning. When I got home the next day, he'd actually gone and cooked an entire chicken for us. He asked me if I eat it.
What? Why is he doubling down?
It was so surreal. Him stood at the kitchen counter with this cooked chicken asking me to eat it when he's never known me to eat meat, as if we hadn't been arguing about this at all. I didn't even respond. I shouldered my way past him to the fridge, which was a massive mistake. Okay, trigger warning. There is some like physical stuff. So if that, be warned. I guess he went a little nuts. I still can't really believe this happened, but he grabbed me by my hair at the back of my head and with another hand tried to force chicken into my mouth.
What the
That's just assault. He should go to jail. That's just assault. Wow. Yikes.
Videographer, thanks
I
for
hope
the
he gets
$5.
arrested. I hope he gets arrested. OP continues. I am still shocked by this. It was terrifying. He was so much stronger than me. He didn't succeed, and after some moments of struggling, he let go. He just stood there looking defeated while I literally ran out of the kitchen and got some stuff and went to my parents. I'm there now. It's been the better part of a week. He's agreed to move out, put up no fight for the flat or for us, which I wouldn't accept, of course, anyway. When we spoke on the phone to decide this, he sounded ashamed. Quiet. I hope he's ashamed. I'll never know why he is suddenly, I'll never know why he suddenly snapped about my vegetarianism, and I frankly don't care anymore. He's obviously just a wanker to do that anyway.
I love the British.
This past month or so has been so different to the test of our relationship. It's crazy, but there's no coming back from this. I'm well shot of him. That's assault. You should call the police.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It doesn't seem that is the end of the story, and I really hope that.
I feel like because we saw the red flags much earlier. Like I feel like we were ready to break up with him
at the first. Yes,
at the first
way
story,
earlier,
way earlier.
That's so.
But I think when you're in a relationship, you don't realize maybe how bad it is until something like that happens.
Especially because I guess he kept lying. He was like, "Oh, it was a mistake. It was a mistake."
Yeah, and obviously now we know that he's a total piece of shit.
Yeah, horrible person.
Yeah. Oh my God.
No.
Yeah, I feel like luckily actually I was about to say like luckily the hate for vegans and vegetarians is kind of like dying down, but there's all these guys that will eat like bull testicles and raw meat and stuff and will poop on vegans.
Yeah.
Have you seen those people?
No, but I mean, I'm sure they're out there.
Yeah, they're out there.
I definitely do say like I definitely got a lot more like people coming at me with against like lifestyle choices, which is so silly.
What do you mean lifestyle choices?
People being like it's unhealthy for you.
Cheryl Schneck, thanks for the $5.
Stuff like that earlier, like years ago when I first started, and I get it less now because I think it's become more common.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure there's still lots of people who do that.
Yeah, and again, like I think there's so many options for being like a vegan and vegetarian that it's not a health thing anymore. It's
not.
It's people who are advocating for you to like eat a certain way. It's more like it's control.
Well, we already know this guy is abusive.
Yeah.
So it feels like he just really wants to have that like control over OP.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is not good.
Not good at all. Know your boundaries.
Yes.
And know how to establish them.
Is that just a segue? I feel like you can't tell your story after that.
What?
Oh yeah, your story.
You really want to go into that story after this?
Well, okay, first of all, it's not my story. My friend recently, you're Alex?
Maybe we should segue we should read the comments and then segue
Okay,
into your
fine.
story.
All right. It's not my story, to be clear.
It's not Sam's story.
It's a very, I think, like an interesting story about how to establish boundaries.
Okay, everyone in the comments, after we hear Sam's story, we can decide whether or not it was relevant.
Kelly Sharp says that's a control thing. If she doesn't eat meat, she probably doesn't cook it or touch it either. And he needs his woman to cook for him. Red pill, red flag. Yeah, Kelly Sharp, I think that's completely what it is. Stella Davis, I had a chicken and dumpling night and made a vegetarian portion for a friend. It's not hard.
It really isn't hard. And also if you like... you don't even have to necessarily make food, like a different food for your vegetarian friend if you're having like a night where everyone's bringing the food, but just like let them know what, Yeah. Like be thoughtful. Be thoughtful.
I mean, that's where it comes down to. Be thoughtful. Yeah. And we already saw that he wasn't being thoughtful with like some of the things that we earlier.
Like going back to the peanut story, for example, if you know someone has a peanut allergy, you wouldn't make them stuff with peanuts in it. It's just the same level of respect. I feel like obviously one could kill you, but some people have allergies to meat.
Yeah.
You should always be careful.
Especially if you have like one of those ticks.
Yeah.
The Lyme disease that makes you allergic to red meat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
yikes.
That would suck.
The point is, if people tell you there are certain things that they do not eat, listen to them and be respectful.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right, Sam. Tell your story.
It's also like my friend wrote this beautiful article about so my friend's Alex Hirschman. He wrote this he dropped out of society to live in eco villages around the world.
Cool.
And he went to this sex party in Guatemala. And was like super nervous about going, but really what it was about was like it wasn't like everyone hooking up with each other all the time. It was like an establishment of boundaries and desires. And like in this article that he wrote about, he talked about how like you can voice your desires without without like shame and such. And like, and I think in these stories, it's like people almost being scared in some ways to establish their boundaries, but establishing a boundary doesn't mean
it's not a rejection necessarily
always of someone. It's a creation of your identity, and it's an establishment of your identity. Because if you don't have boundaries, you like you don't like have space. Like you're not creating space for yourself to exist and have your own identity.
Like I have a lot of friends who aren't into like physical touch, and it's not a rejection. Like they don't hate me if I say like, hey, like when I first met them and I said like, hey, like, are you a hugger? And they say no, that's not a rejection. That is just setting a boundary.
It's a boundary. And you shouldn't necessarily like feel rejected.
No, I didn't. Yeah. Like I wasn't rejected. I was like, they literally just said they're not comfy with hugging and that's it. Yeah. Would I be the a-hole if I continued to stretch my ears after my boyfriend expressed how much he hates it? What the fuck? This is OKOP, home to the craziest true stories on earth. I'm Sophia and Riley. Would you ever get gauges?
No, because I don't want like flies going through them.
So, Area of Dusk says, I, 30 female, have been with my boyfriend, 30 male, for just shy of a decade.
Aw.
He's a very clean-cut guy and very professional in appearance. I, on the other hand, have a sleeve of tattoos, dyed hair, and pierced ears. He works from home as a lead programmer for a company while I work as a manager/pet groomer.
Whoa, that's a power couple right there.
Hell yeah. Despite our opposite looks and career choices, we have lots of interests and opinions in common. If anything, I think our differences help balance us out. Some background that may help add context to our relationship. I started getting tattoos before we met, but my biggest piece was done 2 years ago. He's not a big fan of tattoos and has absolutely no plan to ever get any. I've never pushed, but I have asked if he'd get a tiny one with me. It's not a big deal for me, so after he said no, I just left it.
Sounds like me.
Yeah, I don't think I would ever get a tattoo, not because I don't think they're like sick. I think they're very cool. I just think I have commitment issues with tattoos and like things on my body.
I'm not slutty enough for tattoos.
You have to be slutty enough.
Dude, if I got tattoos, I would be the biggest slut. I'd get neck tattoos. I'd get a motorcycle. It'd have like, you know how like you get like shoes, you have to get an outfit with it? That's how I would treat tattoos.
It's true. Yeah. I would have to get like a bunch of piercings. I would have to change up my look to get tattoos.
Yeah.
He wasn't a fan of my big piece, but because I've had ink done before, he voiced some concerns about the amount of money I've spent, but left it at that. That's not I don't think he could comment on that. That's her money. Fast forward to this past month, I've always liked the jewelry that people with stretched ears get to wear. Some of it looks really cool/pretty, and I, on a whim, decided I would stretch my current piercings. With the help and advice of a friend, I got a kit and have been working with the goal being about a 2G, 0G max. When I first told him about this, he voiced that he really did not like how they looked, and he didn't want me stretching to the point where you could look through my ear or fit a pencil. I told him not to worry and that I'd stop before I got to the generally accepted point of no return. Today, I was moving up from a 10G to an 8G, and he was watching me moisturize and sanitize my jewelry and ears. Once again, he asked how big I was going, and I showed him what a 2G looked like. He gave me an unpleasant look and explained that he again really hated how gauges and stretched ears look. He further went into explain that stretched ears were not my aesthetic, as it was more punk, where I fit more into streetwear or gal styles. Or gal styles.
Maybe she wants to be punk, dude.
Yeah.
Let her be punk.
He doesn't like how they look and doesn't think I'll look good with them. I was disheartened. I took out my jewelry, packed them up, and put them away to maybe discard. I'm now sitting here debating whether I should continue stretching because it's something I want for myself, or if I should honor his wishes and stop. I already pushed my luck with how many tattoos and how big they are, so maybe I should give up on this one thing. I don't want him to think I'm unattractive, so I don't want to change myself past what he's willing to accept. But I also don't want him to tell me what to do with my body. So would I be the a-hole if I continued stretching my ears after my boyfriend expressed how much he hates it? And there are some relevant comments.
I just looked at some gauges.
Yeah.
I don't like the big ear ones because like it just I looked at them and I'm like my ears hurt.
Yeah.
But like some people can rock them.
Some people can rock them.
Not for me.
I think this is like a personal thing. Like it's not for me, but I don't know if you can tell your partner what to do with their body. I think that's a little bit.
Yeah. They've been together for a decade.
Yeah.
And it makes sense why he would have concerns about like what she would do.
Yeah.
Because like in a way, he would become unattracted to her because of the gauges. And if she still wants to be with him, she would have to put that in consideration. It is her body, but like that's his preferences.
I feel like that's like, like people get haircuts, and if you're going to become, unattracted to someone because of a haircut,
This
then
is
it's like
true.
not really love.
I'm low-key scared to get a haircut.
Yeah. You have to wait. You got to wait a little bit.
I gotta wait a little bit because
Yeah.
I feel like some people will be like, you got a haircut and it looks so
Got a
bad.
haircut?
I don't even know what to do with my hair. This is what my hair looks like right now. Tell me what I should do.
Okay, well now I feel like that doesn't accurately represent your hair because you have hat hair now.
Yeah. But like, you guys know what it looks like. This is what it kind of looks like. I need to cut the sides a little bit. My dad's a barber. Why do I not know anything? Like the top looks nice, but the top goes all the way down to my mouth now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to do. I need to find a good barber that knows what's up because my dad knows how to cut.
You have to go to a curly hair barber.
Yes. If anyone knows any curly hair barbers in LA, please go to our Discord and let me know.
Anyway, there are some relevant comments. Why did you ask his opinion if you weren't going to consider it? And OP says, it's not that I really asked for his opinion. I only brought it up to him the first time to just let him know that this was a thing I wanted to do because I was interested in it. This exchange, commenter says, this is so strange to me because you've been with this dude for a decade. I don't really care for gauges, but if my partner of 10 years decided to get them, I wouldn't leave them. These comments are so wild to me. Yeah, that's the thing. Like you've been together for 10 years. Gauges aren't going to drastically change the appearance. OP says, a lot of comments have told me to think about whether my stretched ears are worth more than my long relationship. I did. I also thought about whether he also would view it like that. Would my stretched ears be worth ending a long relationship for? It isn't for me, and I would hope he feels the same way. OP is voted not the a-hole, and there is an update.
That is tough because in a way, you probably are going to be ending a 10-year relationship if you get these ears.
Well, one, I think that if he does end the relationship, I think that's wild, and he actually doesn't really care for her. Like, I think if he's ending a 10-year relationship over gauges, I don't know how much, how strong that relationship was to begin with. But also, there is a scenario where he, just gets used to them.
Yeah. But like, in a way, it could be like a huge turnoff and it doesn't work out. So this is very tricky. I'm interested in the update.
Yes. Thanks to everyone that weighed in. I spent some time reading as many comments as I could. I didn't just read the comments saying not the a-hole. I also read the ones saying you're the a-hole and some of the chains that went on a tangent about ear stretching. I couldn't read them all, but I did want to post an update and respond to some of the comments as a whole. I told him last night that I have decided to stop stretching. He simply gave me a in response while we continued to make dinner, and we haven't talked about it since. I know I'm allowed to do with my body as I see fit, and he's free to leave me if he wants. Neither him nor I look, act, or think like when we first met. Some of the changes by choice, and others because aging is a thing. Tastes have changed, but I've still chosen him. I want to believe that he still continues to choose me. This choice to stop was not because he told me to, but because a lot of people have mentioned relationships are a give and take. At almost a decade, what I do to my ears or not is not a hill I'm willing to die on. To those of you who have showed me concern about the language I used in my post, I'm grateful for your concern, and I wholeheartedly believe this is a choice I made and not a decision based on any fear of abandonment. A few commenters asked how I'd like it if he changed himself in a way that I didn't find attractive. Short answer is I don't have an answer. I'd like to say at this point in our relationship, I'm here because of who he is on the inside. While I do believe that to be my answer, I am human and I am flawed. Maybe there is a thing he could do, but I can't think of anything.
Yeah, because like I was in a relationship once where I was like kind of skinny and then like I gained a little bit of weight. And I feel like that kind of changed the way my partner looked at me.
Yeah. Which I think that
I mean, that's fair. But like to
an
extent, more in love and
but,
with the person.
Yeah.
You can
it
have a
shouldn't
conversation.
really matter.
Like if it really bothered her and she came to me, she'd probably be like, hey, we should probably eat healthier. You should probably like work out more. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I think it depends on how you broach that conversation. And because I don't think if you really care for a person.
And I feel like in a way he did that. He was like, hey, he might have been a little bit more like stern with it, but he probably was like, hey, this is how I feel.
OP continues, I know it seems like I stretched my ears from a 14G to a 10G very quickly. You would be correct. I read several articles stating that I should wait a month or so. I have also read several posts from people with stretched ears that said to listen to my body. I won't bore anyone with the details, but I opted to listen to my body. Finally, to the user concerned about stretching ears in my line of work, it's not a hazard, I assure you.
The dogs might get it.
My GM and a couple of my colleagues have gauges and have never had a dog almost rip one. Your comment made me chuckle because if anything, we're all more concerned about dogs kicking our tools than damage to our body/body mods. And I regret not replying before I lost it in the sea of comments. And that is that story.
Wow.
I think it ended happily.
I hope they figure it out.
I hope they figure it out. I think you should always be a little bit wary about how much say your partner has or wants to have on how you present.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you can't force them to stay with you if, they no longer are attracted with you.
Yeah.
But I think if that comes up, then I don't think that relationship was as strong as it should be.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But you know what is strong?
What is that, Sophia?
This next story.
Whoa.
Today I effed up by asking my boyfriend what his exes looked like.
Ooh, that's always a tricky game.
So Maloko Milk Maiden says, my boyfriend and I have been dating for a while. We actually met in 6th grade. We're both 45 now.
Wait, what?
Oh, but they recently reconnected. I was like,
I see.
you've been dating since 6th grade?
I'm like, holy cow. I do know a couple that has dated since 6th grade.
But
They have
how
been
old are they?
together since 12, and they are now my age. I know, but I've heard that they cheat on each other and it makes me kind of sad.
That is sad. I'm always worried about relationships from like middle school or high school.
Yeah, because you grow. It's
Yeah,
like growing.
you grow.
period.
You've grown as a person. I am not the same person that I was in middle school and definitely not high school. This morning we were talking about our exes and I actually knew one of them, a very pretty blonde who is actually a very lovely person. He casually asked me if I'd like to see the one previous to her. Why? Why did you ask that?
You want to see how hot this gal used to be? Yeah, we go way back. Look at this broad.
My God.
And then OP's like, oh, that's a 10.
That's nice. Thanks, sweetie.
Yeah, she's hot.
She's like, okay. I didn't ask. He casually asked me if I'd like to see the one previous to her. Not thinking much of it, I said, sure. She is absolutely stunning.
Oof.
Textbook, bombshell brunette, and gorgeous. To be fair, I'm not an ugly woman, but relatively plain.
Oof, she just called herself a 5.
Oh,
you're not a 5. You're a funny 7.
All women are 10s.
All women are 10s.
Unfortunately, I've let my insecurities take over and I'm really struggling. I'm a loving person and a good partner. I'm a giver and do the very best I can to be supportive and helpful. None of that is helping my current mindset. Why on earth is this man with me when he could literally do a lot better, at least physically?
Okay, I do want to talk about this.
Okay.
Some of my friends that I have are very materialistic when it comes to women. Because I'll be like, hey, look at this woman. I think she's really pretty. And they're like, whatever. Da, 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 da. And then the women they show me are like Kim K's. And I'm like, yeah. But then I talk to them. They end up with these women, but they're like, yeah, but she's boring.
Well, that's the thing. If you prioritize like looks over personality, it's not going to make a good relationship.
Like to me, I don't really like rate women, but in my head, if I were to do that, I want like a beautiful 8 with no makeup. I know that sounds weird, but like a 10, I'm not interested in because I'm like, okay, you probably are like a 10. A 10 to everyone is like Megan Fox or like, Kim Kardashian. That I'm not attracted to that. I'd rather have like a woman that like as they get older and have more kids, they become more beautiful and they grow more into themselves.
I mean, everyone has their own type.
Yeah.
Like for me, there are like, celebrities that are considered like super attracted. I'm like, I wouldn't.
Adam Driver. Where did that come from?
I don't think he's my type.
I know, but like some people think Adam Driver's attractive.
Oh yeah, exactly. Okay, some people. My point was more like there are some people that are like this is the hottest person, like universally acknowledged, like super hot person. I'm like, not attractive to me.
It all depends, but it is sometimes like tricky. Like friends will be like, oh, well, and I'm like, dude, like at least I can like talk to her all night.
Yeah.
They're having a look at her all night.
I think it is okay to initially want to date someone based off attractiveness, but it shouldn't be the only thing keeping you together.
Yeah. And also a lot of people that are seducers.
Yeah.
They're not very attractive.
Yeah.
It's just all about the emotional mind game.
Yeah. I'm like, how attractive is this guy?
It's all about the wavelengths.
Anyway. OP continues, I know insecurities make people less attractive and add to the inclination to project. He's also incredibly gorgeous, and I just don't know how to fix where my head is at about it. I'm on the verge of walking away because I know for certainty he can obviously do much better. He's been depressed and I'm afraid I'm just a filler until he can move on. I love this person and just don't want to be hurt. Ugh, damn it. Ignorance was bliss. And then TLDR, my boyfriend is out of my league and I saw evidence to back it up. And there is an edit.
Would you rather your boyfriend be out of your league or you be out of your boyfriend's league?
I don't think I'm out of anyone's league.
I could show you 3 people and be like, hey, would you date this person? And you would be like, I'm out of their league.
No, but that's the thing. I don't think I don't think I'm attracted to people who are too attractive because, I'm attracted to a very specific kind of attractiveness.
I see.
And therefore, I don't think that they can be out of my league.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I see what you're saying. I do think some women are out of my league. And I'm like, why are you talking to me?
Interesting. Yeah. See, I don't have that thought process.
Yeah, but now becoming more like, because used to I was scared to death to talk to women. Now after talking to like more women, I don't think a lot of people are out of my league.
Yeah. And this is not to say like, I think I'm like, the prettiest person out there.
Yeah, that is what she's saying.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Sure.
That's not what I'm saying.
Not what I'm saying.
That's not. I think I'm able to get people because of my personality. I honestly think I'm more of a personality person.
Personality.
What did you just do? Shame.
You said that.
I did not
You said
say
personality.
That. Yeah, I said personality. I didn't say personality. I literally think I'd have a nice personality.
Wow, she's saying she's got big.
And I'm not saying that in like a metaphor. My literal personality.
I'm not going to talk about your personality because that's disrespectful. I think your vibe is awesome. We're going to talk about girls' personalities. Come on, dude. That's a tricky. She tried to put me in a corner. Metaphor. Did you see what she just did there? She tried to put me in a corner.
You're speaking in metaphors. I'm talking about my literal personality.
I feel like someone's going to clip me. I'm not going to do this. Anyways, your vibes are awesome. Not going to talk about your personality. That's disrespectful. You're Sam's sister. Come on.
You led into it. You backed yourself into the corner.
No, I didn't. I'm out of it.
You did.
I'm out of it.
Edit. Thank you, everyone who took your time to offer different points of view on the subject. It's been helpful to look at through outside perspectives. I did not see it as a way of self-sabotage, and hearing that reflected has given me pause in my motivations. For those of you that asked, no, I did not directly ask my person about it. I don't believe expressing my insecurities would be helpful. I believe insecurities are an individual problem and at root, my responsibility to correct. I think that's kind of a healthy thing to, I don't think you should be like dumping all of your insecurities on your partner. I think it is weird that he unprompted showed you a picture of his ex.
If I was with a person and they showed me their ex and he was way harder than me, I'd be like, yo, I'm funny.
No, that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm like, dude, I'm hilarious.
I'm like, no, like that's such a compliment. I'm like, Jesus, that person was hot and you're
with me because I'm hilarious.
Because I'm like, I have a great personality.
Like the hotter they are, the better my personality is. The more my stand-up comedian career is about to happen.
No, literally. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I honestly don't. I think half of the reason that I'm able to like get people to like me is because of my vibes.
Because I'm on a comedy podcast.
Because I'm a freaking because I'm a riot. I'm a riot. So I don't think I'm ever gonna be like the type of person that like people, like they're walking past me and they're like, oh my God. But I think if they talk to me, I'm like, yeah, I got it in the bag.
I'm in the bag. They just got to break the ice.
Yeah. They just got to talk to me and then,
Dude, okay, that did work for me. I went to the bungalow. It's like a club. I went there and all the guys there were like nice looking California boy style, work pants, nice little like thing. And they were like good looking guys.
Yeah.
But I would go up to women and I'd be like, yo, what's up? I love your necklace. And I'd just be the goofy guy. And it worked. I got 8 numbers that night.
No, that's what I'm saying. Personalities are so much more interesting. Like
vibes.
Vibes. Whatever. Vibes are so much more interesting.
Saving you here. You're welcome.
Whatever. Okay. Riley's saving me. Yeah. But that's the whole story. Did we
That's the whole story. We got a live stream. Join our live streams.
We gotta go. If you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow.